Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Crime on this Wednesday with episodes of the new Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Basil, Rathbone, and Nigel Bruce. Dana Andrews and I Was a Communist for the FBI, Calling All Cars from 90 years ago, and The Murder in the Vineyard. An episode of Gangbusters from 1955, A Tap Telephone, and Lum and Abner. I don't know which one's the... Well, never mind. Anyway, it's a Wednesday, and you know what that means. This is the 14th day of May, 134th day of the year, 231 days left in 2025. In Philadelphia on this date in 1787, delegates began to meet to write a new constitution for the United States. In 1796, Edward Jenner administered the first smallpox vaccination, smallpox near total eradication today. In 1804, the Lewis and Clark expedition departed from Camp Dubois and began their historic journey by traveling up the Missouri River. In 1913, New York Governor William Sulzer approved the charter for the Rockefeller Foundation, which began operations with a $100 million donation from John D. Rockefeller. $100 million, a lot of money, even today. But in 1913, if you count for inflation, $100 million in 1913 would be the equivalent of $3.2 billion today. In 1948, Israel declared itself to be an independent state, and a provisional government was established. Immediately after the declaration, Israel attacked by the neighboring Arab states. In 1955, 8 communist bloc countries, including the Soviet Union, signed a mutual defense treaty called the Warsaw Pact. In 1961, Freedom Riders bus firebombed near Anniston, Alabama, and the civil rights protesters beaten by an angry mob. In 1973, the first space station, Skylab, was launched.
We have ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 1, 0. And we have a liftoff. The Skylab lifting off the pad now, moving up. Skylab has cleared the tower.
Skylab was in orbit from 1973 to 1979. The return to Earth on July 11th of 1979 attracted major attention. Much of it broke up in the atmosphere. It scattered debris across the Indian Ocean and parts of Western Australia. 5 years after the last Skylab mission, the space station's orbit began to deteriorate faster than anticipated due to unexpectedly high sunspot activity, leading to its dramatic reentry. The event highly publicized the town of Esperance in Western Australia, even fined NASA $400 for littering. It had been in orbit for 6.6 years, occupied for 171 days by 3 different crews, the final crew spending a record 84 days aboard. Now, in 1975, President Ford told the American people he had taken action against Cambodia for the seizure of the SS Mayaguez.
At my direction, United States forces tonight boarded the American merchant ship SS Mayaguez and landed at the island of Koh Tang for the purpose of rescuing the crew and the ship which had been illegally seized by Cambodian forces.
The incident would continue another day, and it was a black mark in history, at least for the Cambodian government. It was seized in international waters. The finale of Seinfeld aired on this date in 1998 on NBC.
I can think of nothing more fitting than for the 4 of you to spend a year removed from society.
76 million viewers tuned into Seinfeld's final episode, which saw them sitting in jail. I have to tell you, I was not a tremendous fan of the Seinfeld show, but you can't deny its popularity. Much of New England hit with a massive flood on this date in 2006, forcing people out of their homes and causing millions of dollars worth of damage. The TV show King of Queens aired its final episode on this date in 2007. It was the last live-action American sitcom that debuted in the 90s to go on the air. And it was on this date 15 years ago today, Space Shuttle Atlantis launched on its mission to deliver the first shuttle-launched Russian International Space Station component. Now, passing away on this date in history, a whole bunch of folk, including the founder of the H.J. Heinz Company, Henry John Heinz, actress Billie Burke, actor Hugh Beaumont, the father in Leave It to Beaver, also actress Rita Hayworth, newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, Harry Blackstone Jr., the magician, also the chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra, actor Robert Stack, the actress Anna Lee, Lila Quartermain on General Hospital. She also did a number of game shows. And one of the things about Anna Lee was she was on a Goodson Todman show, It's News to Me. And she was kind of the lighthearted, fluffy one that dealt in that show. And the folks from Goodson Todman were told, well, you got to take Anna Lee off. She's on Red Channels, which, if you might remember, Red Channels was the publication that indicated who were communist sympathizers. Well, Anna Lee wasn't, or at least, not knowingly. A lot of people who were alleged to be communist sympathizers back in the day weren't. They just were associated with people who were. And you never could tell back in the day, and you still can't today tell who's one or the other. But the Goodson Todman folks said, no, we're not going to do it. And it just kind of went away. One of the original panelists for What's My Line was in Red Channels. And I will try to think of his name here in a few minutes and tell you he was a poet of some repute and very intelligent and was one of the best players of What's My Line ever. I mean, he was even better than Arlene Francis. And I just can't remember his name. But I'll think of his name here in a minute during one of these breaks we're going to take. Will Elder from Mad Magazine passing away on this date. Anna Lee did pass away as well. The blues magician, B.B. King. Oh, that man was magic. Actor Powers Booth. And has it been 6 years since we lost Tim Conway? My goodness. Birthdays on this date include Bobby Darin.
But the musical story, well, that starts back in 1958. April 10th of that year, in fact. And I walked into a record session with a song that I'd written, and a lot of hopes and a lot of dreams. Now, it wasn't the first record session I'd ever done, but it was the first time that I felt, well, maybe I could have a hit out of this particular date. The man upstairs was smiling at me that afternoon because, well, the song did become a hit. And, oh, by the way, the sounds you hear in the background are the actual pre-recording tune-ups and rehearsal of that record date. And now, the beginning.
Now, all three songs Bobby Darin recorded in that session he referred to became million sellers. They made him a big name in music. But his biggest hit would come a year later.
1950, number one.
Yes, that line forms on the right, babe. Not that Maggie's back in town. Look out, old Maggie's back.
Oh, biggest hit of all time, Bobby Darin. We lost him way too early. 1973, at the age of 37, Bobby Darin, born on this date in history. By the way, I want to go back. I was talking about one of the original panelists on What's My Line. And if you go onto YouTube, you can find some of those early episodes going way back in early 50s. And the gentleman I was thinking of, Louis Untermeyer, a poet. He also was an anthologist, a critic, and an editor. And he was brilliant, and he played the game so well. And the truly sad part is if he had not gotten tied up in the in that whole controversy, that it would have been. He was wonderful. He was a panelist during the 1950. Bennett Cerf said Untermeyer would sign virtually any piece of paper someone put in front of him, according to Bennett Cerf. And Untermeyer inadvertently signed a few communist proclamations. According to Cerf, Untermeyer wasn't a communist at all, but he had joined several suspect societies that made him stand out. And I guess him being the standout of What's My Line in the early days, he wasn't a communist according to Bennett Cerf, and who would know better? So another person who got ruined by the Red Scare. Anyway, we were talking about people born on this date. One of them was Bobby Darin, Mel Cooley on the Dick Van Dyke Show, Richard Deacon, born on this date. A fellow who you probably don't know by his given name, Leon White, but he would become known over in Japan and then come back to the U.S. under the name Big Van Vader. He was born on this date, a pro wrestler. And another wonderful wrestler who was ruined in the WWF. He was. But if you go see some of Steve Williams's performances in Mid-South Wrestling under Bill Watts, he was amazing. Dr. Death Steve Williams. He was taken from cancer back in 2009. Steve Williams, born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
I'll talk about some more, though, of people who are born on this date. Pro wrestlers who are the ones who can really make you believe. Those guys were Big Van Vader, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. They made you believe the business. And there are a couple of wrestlers who celebrate birthday. Well, there's another one who celebrates birthday on this date. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, George Lucas, 81 today. Film director Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future, 73 today. From Reservoir Dogs, Tim Roth is 64.
I stand outside and guard the door. I don't let anybody go in or go out.
Tim Roth, 64 years old today. She won an Academy Award for The Aviator. Kate Blanchett, 56.
I've been famous, for better or worse, for a long time now, and I wonder if you know what it really means.
From The Aviator, Kate Blanchett is 56. Shanice, wonderful singer, 52 years old today. I love your smile. Let's see. From General Hospital and Joan of Arcadia, Amber Tamblyn, 42 today.
The other Joan, she had an army, okay? I don't have anything like that. Where's my army?
From Joan of Arcadia, Amber Tamblyn, 42 today. The guy who runs Facebook created it as a way to get girls. That's what I was always told. Mark Zuckerberg, 41.
I do remember having these specific conversations with my friends where we thought, someone is going to build this. Someone is going to build something that makes it so that people can stay connected with their friends and their family.
And there were a lot of engines that tried to do that. I'm old enough to remember MySpace. I'm old enough to remember the chat rooms on America Online where a lot of us stayed connected. My Facebook's just kind of stuck, Mark Zuckerberg, 41 years old today. A wrestler who was in the WWE by the name of Zack Ryder. And he built himself. The WWE didn't use him that well. So he built himself on YouTube. He made himself the internet champion while he was under contract to the WWE. And they kind of spent all his goodwill. They let him go. He rebranded himself under the name of Matt Cardona. And he's succeeding these days on the independent scene. And one of the things he said in interviews is that, he's better off today than he ever was in the WWE. He made himself the internet champion, used social media, but WWE never really used him as well as they should have. Matt Cardona, who not only is popular on the independent scene, he's dating WWE's Chelsea Green. In fact, he's married to her. Matt Cardona, 40 years old, and actress Miranda Cosgrove, 32 today. Those are just a few of the people celebrating the 14th day of May as their birthday. If this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
Basil Rathbone, Nigel Bruce, and the New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Coming up next here on this Wednesday Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Spring is nearly here, and many of our listeners will be getting out their gardening tools, their overalls or shorts to again try their hands at raising their own vegetables. For most of us, gardening is an enjoyable hobby, and it certainly is a great thrill to see the results of your work come out of the ground right before your eyes. In other lands, many people will also be watching their spring planting grow. Clair, the cooperative for American remittances to Europe, proposes to help meet that need with their new vegetable seed package. It contains 28 varieties of vegetables. In order for families in Europe to start planting, you should order the Clair seed package right away. Total cost, with delivery guaranteed, is $4. Send your orders to Nonprofit Care, 50 Broad Street, New York, and help a family help themselves.
Yeah, you can learn more now about CARE, what they're doing in 2025, instead of back in the 50s and the 40s and 50s, from care.org. That's care.org. Let's go back now 82 years to May 14th, 1943. Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce, The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, The Man with the Twisted Lip.
Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invite you to listen to Dr. Watson tell another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that Master Detective Sherlock Holmes. Before he starts, I can tell you something that's really worth knowing. Simply this. The best beginning a good meal ever had is a glass of Petri California Sherry. Petri Sherry is the perfect before-dinner wine. While you're waiting for dinner to be put on the table, pour yourself a glass of that clear, amber-colored Petri Sherry. Now, just sit back and sip it slowly. Take your time so you can thoroughly enjoy every single drop of that wonderful Petri flavor. And what a flavor that sherry has. It comes right from the sun-ripened heart of wonderful California grapes. You may be a real wine expert and know all about sherry wine, but believe me, until you've tried a Petri sherry, you're really missing something. Serve Petri sherry alone or serve it with canapes or appetizers. And by all means, serve it proudly. You can because the letters P-E-T-R-I spell the proudest name in the history of American wines. Petri. And now let's visit our good friend and host, Dr. Watson. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Mr. Bartell. Draw up your usual chair and make yourself at home. How about a glass of sherry?
That'd be very nice. All ready for tonight's story, Doctor?
Yes, my boy. Here's your sherry.
Thank you, sir.
My story begins on a June night in 1889. My wife and I had spent a quiet evening at home, I remember. It was just about the hour that a man gives his first yawn and glances at the clock, and the tranquility of the scene was broken by the discordant jangling of our front doorbell.
An emergency call for you, I suppose, Doctor.
Not exactly, Mr. Bartell. It turned out to be a certain Mrs. Isa Whitney, an old friend of my wife's who'd come to us in trouble. Her husband, she told us, had been missing for 48 hours, and, knowing him to be the victim of the shocking habit of taking opium, she was convinced that he was lying drugged and stupefied in some foul den amid the London waterfronts.
And I suppose you went out to try to find him?
Yes, Mr. Bartell, I did. She told me that her husband had mentioned frequenting a place called the Bar of Gold in Upper Swandam Lane, so naturally that's where I began my search. I quickly located it, and after ordering my cab to wait, I entered the place. A strange sight met my eyes. Through the smoke-ridden gloom, I could catch a glimpse of bodies lying in strange, fantastic poses as they smoked the pipes of death. Most of the unhappy creatures lay silently, but some muttered to themselves and others talked together in strange, low, monotonous voices, their conversation coming in gushes and then trailing off into silence, each mumbling his own thoughts and paying little attention or heed to the words of his neighbor. As I entered, an attendant hurried up to me with an opium pipe and a supply of the drug and beckoned me to an empty berth.
Master may lie here.
I haven't come to stay here, my good man. I'm looking for a friend, Mr. Isa Whitney.
No one by that name here, Master.
Well, I'm going to search this place just the same.
Please not to make trouble, Master.
Watson. Is that you, Watson?
Whitney, thank heavens I've found you, man.
What time is it?
It's nearly 11.
Of what day?
What day? Friday, June the 19th.
Oh, good Lord, I thought it was Wednesday. It is Wednesday. You're trying to confuse me.
I tell you it's Friday. Your wife has been waiting 2 days for you.
You're mixed up in your dates, Watson. I've only been here a few hours. 3 pipes, 4 pipes, I forget how many. I'll go home with you.
Here, I'll give you a hand. That's it. I have a cab waiting.
I must owe some money. Will you settle up for me, Watson?
Yes, of course. Here, wait here for me. Stop pulling at my sleeve, my good fellow. Who are you and what do you want?
A word in your ear, please, sir.
Oh, very well. What is it?
Get rid of your friend and join me outside.
Holmes, what on earth are you doing here in this den?
Are your cab waiting?
Yes.
Then please use it to send your befuddled friend home in. And if you feel up to it, I should also recommend that you send a note to the cabman telling your wife that you've thrown in your lot with me. I'd be exceedingly glad to have a little talk with you.
Yes, of course, Holmes.
Splendid. Then conclude your business here, old chap. I'll meet you outside in about 10 minutes.
Where on earth is he? It's nearly... Is that you, Holmes?
Yes, Watson, it's me.
Your disguise is wonderful. I never recognized you if you hadn't spoke to me just now.
Disposed of your friend?
Yes, of course.
Splendid. Let's start walking. I have a horse and trap waiting for me in the next street.
Oh, what on earth were you doing in the Bar of Gold, Holmes?
Trying to get news of a missing man. You see, I'm in the midst of a very remarkable inquiry, and I'd hoped to get a clue from the incoherent ramblings of those poor devils back there. There's the horse and trap under the street lamp on the corner. You'll come with me, Watson?
Yes, of course, if I can be of any use.
A trusty comrade is always of use. My room at the Cedars has 2 beds in it.
The Cedars?
Yes, that's Mr. Neville St. Clair's house and our present destination. It's near Lee in Kent, about 7 miles from here. I'm using it as a headquarters while I conduct my inquiries.
Evening, Mr. Holmes. Everything all right?
Yes, thank you, John. Get in, Watson.
Right, John.
I shan't need you any more tonight, John. Here's £1/crown for you. Look out for me tomorrow about 11.
Right you are, Mr. Holmes. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, John. Go on, get up.
Well, Holmes, if we have a 7-mile drive ahead of us, perhaps you'll tell me about the case that you're working on.
With pleasure, old chap. But first, take the reins for a few minutes, will you? I want to remove my makeup and take off my wig and be comfortable. After that, I'll tell you why we are headed for the Kentish countryside at this hour of the night. Watson, you have a grand gift of silence. It makes you invaluable as a companion. We've driven 4 miles and you haven't uttered a word.
It wasn't easy, Holmes. I've been dying to question you, but I could see that you were preoccupied.
Then I shall reward you with a clear and concise statement of my problem. Mr. Neville St. Clair, aged 37, the father of 2 children and an affectionate husband, is missing. He left his house, the Cedars, near Lee, our present destination, last Monday.
4 days ago, eh?
Yes. Now, why should an affectionate husband and a happy father disappear?
Any money trouble?
No, I think not. His entire debts, at the moment, amount to £88, while he has £220 standing to his credit at the Capital and Counties Bank.
Who was the last person to see him on Monday?
His wife. But let me tell you the story. He left his house for London rather earlier than usual.
He was a businessman then?
Yes, he has an interest in several companies in London, but his wife doesn't know exactly what he does. But to continue, he left for London saying that he would bring his little boy home a box of toy bricks. Now, by the merest chance, his wife received a telegram shortly after his departure saying that a parcel of considerable value was waiting for her at the offices of the Aberdeen Shipping Company.
Aberdeen Shipping? Why, their offices are in Fresno Street. I drove by them tonight.
Exactly, and Fresno Street branches out of Upper Swandam Lane, where the Bar of Gold is situated.
Ah, now I'm beginning to understand. Go on, Holmes, go on.
Mrs. St. Clair took a train for London, and at exactly 4:35 on Monday last, found herself walking past the Bar of Gold. Suddenly, she heard a cry, and looking up was horrified to see her husband beckoning to her from a second-story window.
Great Scott, was he a prisoner, or was he there of his own free will, do you suppose?
Undoubtedly, he was a prisoner. The window was open, and she distinctly saw his face, which she described as being terribly agitated.
Really?
He waved his hand to her frantically and then vanished from the window so suddenly that it seemed to her that he had been dragged back by some irresistible force from behind.
Good gracious me.
One singular point which struck her quick feminine eye was that although he wore the coat he had left for London in, he wore neither collar nor tie.
Well, what did she do?
Rushed down the steps into the Bar of Gold and attempted to go up the staircase leading to the second floor.
I suppose that Oriental fellow that I talked to tonight stopped her.
Exactly. In fact, he pushed her out of the door and slammed it after her. She rushed down the lane and a few moments later was lucky enough to meet a sergeant and 2 constables.
She took them back with her to the Bar of Gold, of course.
Yes. They went with her to the room in which Neville St. Clair had last been seen. Of course, there was no sign of him. In fact, on the whole floor, there was no one to be found except a hideous, deformed beggar who seemed to live there. From what Mrs. St. Clair told me, it appears that the sergeant conducted the examination quite intelligently.
Certain you saw your husband at this window, Mrs. Sinclair?
I'm positive, Sergeant.
And the Lascar swears no one's been upstairs this afternoon. Well, he's probably lying. But let's see what this cripple fellow has to say for himself. Here, you.
What do you want with me? I ain't done nothing.
Now, you heard what this lady said. Did you see her husband go in this room a few minutes ago?
I didn't see nobody, and I've been here all the afternoon.
You live here?
Yes.
And you swear on oath that no one's been in this room for the last few hours?
Yes, I do.
Mrs. Sinclair, I know that you think you saw your husband, but don't you suppose...
Look on the table.
Just a wooden box, Mum.
But I know what's inside it. There, see?
Oh, it's a lot of wooden bricks like kids play.
My husband came to London today especially to buy them for our son. You can't disbelieve me now, Sergeant.
Don't think I can, Mum. I'll take another look round. Where does this door lead to?
My bedroom. Yeah, you won't find nothing in there.
Oh, we'll look just the same. Hello. There's bloodstains on this window ledge. Fresh bloodstains. How do you account for that?
Well, I don't know nothing about it.
And the window overlooks the river, just where the water's good and deep, too. Nice place to tip a body out. Here, come here, you.
Yeah, I ain't done nothing.
You've got bloodstains on your right sleeve. What do you got to say about that?
Well, I cut my finger, see? And then I went and opened the window later. That's how the blood got there.
Did you think I was born yesterday? Let's have a look in this chest of drawers. Hello. Hello, whose clothes are these? A pair of trousers, socks, shoes, hat, everything except the coat, eh? Mrs. Sinclair, will you come in here, please, Mum?
What have you found, Sergeant?
These clothes. Are they your husband's, Mum?
Yes. Yes, they are. What's happened to him, Sergeant?
I'm afraid he's met with foul play, Mum. And this man knows what happened, only he won't talk.
I don't know nothing, I tell you.
Don't you? Well, I arrest you in the name of the law, and I warn you that anything you say...
And so, Watson, the sergeant arrested this crippled beggar.
No, I'm not surprised. What have they been able to find out about him?
Surprisingly little. His name is Hugh Boone. And he's a professional beggar, quite a successful one, I gather. His pathetic appearance attracts great sympathy. There's a shock of orange hair and a pale face that is disfigured by a horrible scar which has twisted the outer edge of his upper lip.
And he was the last man to see Neville St. Clair alive, eh?
So it would seem. The Lascar downstairs has been cross-examined relentlessly, but he swears that he has no knowledge of the crime.
Have there been any further developments?
Oh, yes, old chap. Yes, indeed there have. The ebbing tide gave a fresh clue.
Do you mean St. Clair's body was washed out?
No, his coat.
What?
With every pocket stuffed with pennies and halfpennies. 421 pennies and 270 halfpennies, to be exact. There's no wonder that had not been swept away by the tide.
But a human body was a different matter.
Yes, there's a strong eddy between the house and the wharf. It seems likely that the weighted coat had remained when the stripped body had been carried away into the river.
Well, the other clothes were found in the room. Why would the body be dressed in a coat alone?
We can only surmise, old chap, but supposing that this man Boone had thrust Neville St. Clair through the window and into the river, what would he do then?
Try and dispose of the telltale garments.
Yes, that would be logical, wouldn't it? He would seize the coat and be in the act of throwing it out of the window when it would occur to him that it would float and not sink.
So he loaded the pockets with coins to make it sink.
Quite so.
Yes, of course.
But he has little time, for he has heard the scuffle downstairs when Mrs. St. Clair tried to force her way up. He only succeeded in getting as far as throwing the coat out when the police arrived on the scene.
Well, that seems perfectly feasible.
Well, it'll do as a working hypothesis anyway.
Neville St. Clair disappeared on Monday, and yet we still don't know what he was doing in the opium den. What happened to him when he got there, or where he is now?
Oh, what Hugh Boone, the beggar with the twisted lip, had to do with his disappearance. Here we are at our destination.
Well, there's a light burning. Mrs. St. Clair must be waiting up for you.
Yes, poor woman. I hate to return here with no news of her husband, but she's being brave, Watson, extremely brave. We must do everything we can to comfort her.
Dr. Watson, I'm so grateful that you were able to come down and help your friend.
Oh, I only hope that I can be of some help, Mrs. St. Clair.
I see that you have no good news for me, Mr. Holmes.
I'm afraid not.
No bad.
No.
Thank heaven for that. Mr. Holmes, tell me honestly, do you think that Neville is still alive?
Well,
Frankly now.
Frankly, then I don't.
You think he's murdered?
Oh, I don't say that, but perhaps you see...
And on what day did he meet his death?
On Monday.
Then perhaps, Mr. Holmes, you can explain how I received a letter from him today.
What?
Well, where is the letter, madam?
Here.
Let me see it. This is very crude writing on the envelope. Surely it's not your husband's hand?
No, but the writing in the letter is.
Uh-huh. This letter contained an enclosure.
Yes, there was a ring. His signet ring.
What does the letter say, Holmes?
Dearest, do not be frightened. All will come well. There is a huge error which it may take some little time to rectify. Wait in patience. And it's signed Neville. Mm-hmm. Written in pencil on the flyleaf of a notebook. No watermark. Posted today in Gravesend by a man with a dirty thumb. Mm-hmm. And the flap has been gummed, if I'm not mistaken, by a man who has been chewing tobacco.
My husband must be alive, Mr. Holmes.
This might be a clever forgery to put us off the track.
But the signet ring.
Yes, it may have been taken from him.
But the handwriting and then the postmark.
Might have been written on Monday and only posted today.
I won't be discouraged,
Mrs.
Mr.
St.
Holmes.
Clair, I have no wish to discourage you. I'm just trying to be practical. If your husband is alive and able to write letters, why should he remain away from you?
I can't imagine.
He made no special remarks before leaving on Monday?
No, none. Except to say that he was going to buy the wooden blocks.
When you saw him at the Bar of Gold in Swandam Lane, was the window open?
Yes.
Then he might have called you.
He might.
As I understand it, he gave an inarticulate cry, a call for help, you thought.
Yes, he waved his hands.
But it might have been a cry of surprise. Astonishment at the unexpected sight of you might have caused him to throw up his hands.
I suppose so.
And you thought that he was pulled back from the window.
Yes, because he disappeared so abruptly.
He might have leaped back, mightn't he?
He might have, though I can't think why.
One last question. Had your husband ever shown signs of, taking opium?
Why, no, never, Mr. Holmes. I'm certain the idea would have revolted him.
Thank you, Mrs. St. Clair. Those were the principal points I wanted to be clear on. And now, Watson, I suggest we retire for the night. We may have a busy day ahead of us tomorrow.
I hope you both sleep well. Good night, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson.
Good night, Mrs. St. Clair, and keep up your courage.
Good night, Mrs. St. Clair. We must hope for the best. The clouds seem lighter, though I should not venture to say that danger is over.
You'll hear the rest of Dr. Watson's story in just a second. So I'm just going to remind you that when you buy Petri California sherry, you have a choice of two kinds of sherry. You can choose Petri regular sherry, or if you prefer your sherry dry, not sweet, ask for Petri pale dry sherry. They're both fine wines. And if you don't know which you'd prefer, don't buy one, buy two. Buy them both and try them both. And remember this, Petri Sherry is the perfect all-round, all-occasion wine. It's good before dinner, after dinner, at cocktail time, and any time. Just be sure you get Petri Sherry. Well, Dr. Watson, you and the great Sherlock Holmes certainly deserved a good night's rest. Did you get it?
I did, Mr. Bartell, but Holmes made no attempt to sleep. As soon as we retired upstairs, he donned a blue silk dressing gown and then wandered about the room collecting pillows from his bed and cushions from the sofa and the armchairs. With these, he constructed a sort of eastern divan on which he perched himself cross-legged with an ounce of shag tobacco and a box of matches laid out in front of him.
He was all set for a session of thinking, I guess, huh?
Yes, my boy. In the dim light of the lamp, I saw him sitting there, an old briar pipe clenched in his teeth, his eyes fixed vacantly on a corner of the ceiling, the blue smoke curling up from him, silent, motionless. So he sat as I dropped off to sleep, and so he sat when I wakened in the morning to find the summer sun shining into the room. The pipe was still between his lips, the smoke still curled upward, and the room was full of a dense tobacco haze. But nothing remained of the heap of shag which I had seen on the previous night.
Watson? Awake, Watson?
What time is it?
20 minutes past 4.
Lord Holmes, you haven't been to bed.
True, old chap, I had to think. I couldn't allow my brain the luxury of sleeping. You game for a morning drive?
Yes, certainly. I'll get dressed.
Good. No one's stirring yet, but I know where the stable boy sleeps. I'll have the horse and trap out in no time at all.
Oh, where are we going?
To prison. To visit Hugh Boone, the man with the twisted lip.
Holmes, you're unusually excited. What's on your mind?
I want to test a little theory. I think, Watson, that you are now standing in the presence of one of the most absolute fools in Europe. I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross, but I think I have the key to the affair now.
Oh, where is it?
In the bathroom.
You're joking, Holmes.
No, I've just been there and removed it. It's in my coat pocket now. Hurry and get dressed, old chap. And we'll drive over to the prison and see whether my key fits the lock.
Well, good morning, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson.
Good morning, officer. Good morning.
Well, you're a couple of early birds, and no mistake.
Yes, Constable. We're searching for the proverbial worm. Who's on duty?
Inspector Bradstreet, sir.
Oh,
here he is now.
Good morning, Bradstreet.
Oh, hello, Mr. Holmes. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Inspector.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We called about Hugh Boone, the beggar man who is charged with being concerned in the disappearance of Mr. Neville St. Clair. You have him here?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. He's in the cells. I'll take you to him. Follow me, will you, gentlemen?
Thank you.
Well, what kind of a prisoner has he been, Inspector?
Oh, he hasn't given us any trouble, but he's a dirty devil. It's as much as we can do to make him wash his hands. His face is as black as a tinker's.
So he has an aversion to washing, has he?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Well, once his case has been settled, he'll have a regular prison bath, and when you see him, I think you'll agree with me that he needs it. Well, here we are. This is his cell. He's still asleep.
Good Lord, what a filthy, repulsive-looking fellow.
Yes, he's a beauty, isn't he? Want to go in, Mr. Holmes?
Please, Inspector.
Well, he certainly needs a wash.
Yes, I had an idea that he might. That's why I brought this sponge along in my pocket.
Oh, so that was the key that you found in the bathroom.
You're a funny one, Mr. Holmes, and no mistake. What did you bring a sponge along for?
I'll show you. Is there any water in this cell?
In the jug on the table there.
Yes. I soak the sponge in the water so, and then apply it to the prisoner's face, so.
Great Scott, his complexion's 3 shades lighter underneath, and the scar on his lip has disappeared.
What are you doing to me?
Now a tug on this mop of red hair, and I think we'll find it's a wig. Yes, come on. That's right. Let me introduce you to Mr. Neville St. Clair of Lee in the county of Kent.
Good Lord, Mr. Holmes, it's the missing man, all right. I recognize him from the photographs.
All right. I'm Neville St. Clair. What am I charged with?
With making away with Mr. Neville St. Oh, no, you can't be charged with that unless we make a case of attempted suicide of it.
Well, since I'm the missing man, then it's obvious that no crime has been committed, and therefore I'm illegally detained.
No crime, but a very great error has been committed. You would have done better to have trusted your wife.
It wasn't only my wife, it was the children. I couldn't bear to have them know that their father was a common beggar. Now you've exposed me. What can I do?
Well, if you leave it to a court of law to clear this matter up, sir, you can hardly avoid newspaper publicity. But if you're perfectly honest with us now, I'm sure that the inspector and Mr. Holmes won't be too hard on you.
No, Mr. St. Clair. Inspector Bradstreet will, I'm sure, make notes on the information that you give us and submit them to the proper authorities. But now, sir, your story, please. Why have you been posing as Hugh Boone, a crippled beggar with a twisted lip?
Well, it's a simple enough story. Some years ago, I was a newspaper reporter. One day, my editor wanted an article on begging in the London metropolis.
I suppose you thought the best way to get your facts was to disguise yourself as a beggar.
Yes, I'd been an actor in my youth, and it wasn't hard for me to adopt a convincing disguise. But that was the point where all my troubles started. On that first day I sat in the London streets, I found to my amazement that I received no less than 26 shillings and 4
Almost as much as your weekly salary as a reporter, I imagine.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Well, you can imagine how hard it was to settle down to arduous work at £2 a week when I knew that I could earn as much in a couple of days by smearing my face with paint, laying my cap on the ground, and sitting still. Only one man knew my secret.
The Lascar at the Bar of Gold in Upper Swandam Lane, eh?
Yes, Mr. Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning I would emerge from there dressed as a beggar, and in the evenings I'd return and transform myself into a well-dressed man about town. The fellow was well paid for his rooms, and well, I knew that my secret was safe in his possession.
And when you got married, you couldn't bring yourself to confide in your wife, I suppose.
No, I couldn't. My wife knew that I had a business in the city. She little knew what.
When you saw your wife from the window last Monday, you quickly changed back into the character of the beggar, I suppose.
Yes, Mr. Holmes.
Of course.
And then weighted my coat and threw it into the river.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think there's anything else I need explain, is there, gentlemen?
One point. The signet ring that you sent your wife.
Well, I knew that she'd be worrying. So I gave it to the Lascar at a moment when no constable was watching me, together with a hastily scribbled note.
That note only reached her last night, Mr. Sinclair.
Last night? Oh, poor Catherine. What a dreadful week she must have spent.
The police have been watching that Lascar. He probably found it difficult to post the letter for you without being spotted.
Yes, I would surmise he gave it to a sailor customer of his to post. A sailor who chewed tobacco and had a dirty thumb. Yes, I think all the ends are tied off very neatly now. One last question, Mr. Sinclair. Have you ever been prosecuted for begging?
Oh, many times, but what was a fine to me?
It's got to stop here and now, Mr. Sinclair. And if the police had asked this thing up, there must be no more of you, Boone, the beggar.
I swear it.
And you must tell your wife the truth at once. If you'd done that a long time ago, you'd have saved both of yourselves a very great deal of misery, sir.
I shall tell her everything.
Well, Mr. Holmes, we're very much obliged to you for having cleared this matter up. I wish I knew how you reached your results, though.
Well, in this case, my dear Inspector, I reached them by sitting upon 5 pillows and consuming an ounce of shag tobacco. I only wish that all my problems might be solved so comfortably.
Doctor, that was some story. Imagine arresting a man for committing a murder and then finding out that he's the fellow who's supposed to be dead.
It is a bit bewildering, isn't it?
You said it. Boy, being a detective sure has its surprises. Nothing like that ever happens to me.
Oh, come. One would believe to hear you talk that you lead a very uneventful life.
Oh, but I do, Doctor, I do. Why, I never get any surprises. Look, I tell our friends that Petri wine is always good wine. And what happens?
Well, what does happen?
Everybody agrees it's good wine, and that's that. Well, it just got to be. After all, the Petri family has been making wine for generations. Winemaking is their heritage. A heritage passed on down from father to son, from father to son, from generation to generation. The Petri family knows full well the art of turning luscious, sun-ripened grapes into fragrant, delicious wine. And because the making of Petri wine is a family affair, you can be sure that the name Petri on a bottle of wine really stands for something. It's your assurance that every drop of wine in that bottle is good wine. No matter what type wine you prefer, you'll never go wrong with a Petri wine because Petri took time to bring you good wine. Well, Dr. Watson, what new Sherlock Holmes adventure are you planning to tell us next week?
Well, now let me see. Next week, Mr. Bartell, I'm going to tell you a weird story of violence and of sudden death that struck without warning. I call it The Strange Adventure of the Uneasy Easy Chair.
82 years ago, May 14th, 1943, The New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Basil, Rathbone, and Nigel Bruce. They were great at the show. They brought in others to replace them very quietly, and the show continued on for another number of years. But Rathbone and Nigel Bruce were the best. Dana Andrews up next with the Cold War drama, I Was a Communist for the FBI.
What are your dreams for 10 years from now? Perhaps you'd like to travel abroad. In 10 years, comfortable tourist accommodations will certainly be available. This also applies if your travel plans are along the lines of see America first. If you're wondering how you can be sure of having the money at that time, buy savings bonds. Perhaps you haven't been considering travel. Well, if you've been counting on future leisure time or a college education for your children, a farm or business of your own, a retirement income or a home of your own, the solution is still the same. Buy savings bonds. Purchase them the easy, automatic way, where you work through the payroll savings plan, where you bank through the bond-a-month plan. Savings bonds are profitable. For every $3 invested today, you'll receive $4 when your bonds mature. So buy United States savings bonds through the payroll savings plan or bond-a-month plan. And remember, automatic saving is sure saving.
Always good to think like that, put money away. The Cold War drama, Dana Andrews, I Was a Communist for the FBI as double agent Nat Cvetic. This episode goes back 73 years to May 14th, 1952, the Red Herring.
I was a communist for the FBI.
Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I was a communist for the FBI. From the actual records and authentic experiences of Matt Cvetic come many of the incidents in this unusual story. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI.
When you pose as a communist for the FBI, you're on guard constantly, wondering if the party suspect you, being careful never to make a slip. This is all part of my 9 years as a communist for the FBI.
In a moment, listen to Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, undercover man. Now, here is Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, undercover man. This story from the confidential file is marked Red Herring.
When you are an undercover agent for the FBI, you live the life of a spy. You trust no one. Tell nobody what you're really doing, not even your own family. And hanging over you every minute is the threat of exposure, of being found out. You know what that would mean, so you stay on guard. But still, you can't cover everything.
Hello?
Hello, Mom. This is Matt.
Son, how are you, son?
I'm fine, Mom. Any messages for me?
No, but there was man here earlier this evening.
A man? One of my...
Yes, one of them. One of those...
commies, you mean? Look. What did he say he wanted?
He said something about meeting at the studio tonight. Oh, Matt, when are you going to come to your senses and break away from this terrible organization
Mom.
and move back home here with the rest of us?
Mom. We've been over all this before.
Oh, but those people are criminals. The man that was here, cold and hard, suspicious. Burkhead or whatever his name was.
Burkhart.
That was it. Burkhart.
Are you sure? You sure that was the name?
Yes. Matt, you're not in trouble of some kind.
Trouble? Oh, of course not, Mom. I gotta go now. I'll be calling you, huh? Goodbye. Burkhart. The studio was a second-floor piano school on 9th Street. We used it for secret meetings sometimes in case the regular hall was wired. 2 men beside Burkhart were waiting for me. Herb Bemis, chairman of the cell at the time, and Jason Cook, secretary. None of them looked friendly.
Well, Cvetic, it's about time.
We're trying to find you all evening, Matt.
Oh, sorry, Herb. I didn't get home till late.
You have met Comrade Burkhart, Comrade Cvetic.
Yes, about 8 months ago in New York. Possibly you don't remember it, Comrade.
I remember it. Sit down. Take the chair at the end of the table.
Thanks.
Cvetic, did you say something about not getting home until late?
That's right. And Mom gave you the message, so I came straight on down here.
Comrade Cvetic, are you certain you even went home?
What do you mean?
Benny Lazzotti was waiting for you all evening in a parked car in front of your house, Matt. He just phoned, said you still hadn't showed up.
Look, what is this? What difference does it make when I come home? And what's the idea of having Benny spying on me anyhow?
Comrade Cvetic. I'm sure none of us in the party would mind a little questioning from his leaders unless he had something to hide.
What do you mean, something to hide? You know my record in the party. You know the work I've done.
Maybe we've only known part of it, Cvetic.
Comrade Cook, I'll handle this if you don't mind. Cvetic, would you mind telling me about your operation at the Conover Manufacturing Company?
Conover? What do you mean about planting that agent in the drafting department?
That's right.
Well, I got him hired through my connections in the U.S. Employment Service. Still working at the plant as a draftsman using the name of Kepler.
And what were his instructions, Comrade Cvetic?
The Conover plant is working on Army contracts, control mechanisms for guided missiles. Kepler was to keep his eyes open and pass along any information he could get a hold of. And that's what he's been doing.
And has he made contact with any other party members at the plant?
No. He was specifically told not to. None of the others even know he's there.
Who does know about Kepler?
Well, just myself, Comrades Cook, Bemis here.
Only the 3 of you. And all 3, of course, are of unquestioned loyalty to the party.
I don't get it, Burkhart. What are you driving at?
Just this. Comrade Kepler was arrested by the FBI today.
I was caught off base. The 3 of them sat there watching me, waiting for my reaction. The heat was on. Of all the lousy luck. How did it happen?
We thought you might know, Comrade Cvetic.
I wish I did. But I don't see what possibly could have gone wrong.
It would almost seem as though the FBI had been tipped off about him.
Tipped off? But no one except Bemis and Cook and I even knew. Tipped off by whom?
By you, Cvetic, you dirty rat.
Now, wait a minute, Cook.
Cvetic, the evidence at the moment seems to bear him out.
The evidence? What evidence?
The evidence of elimination. It seems highly improbable that either Comrade Bemis or Comrade Cook could be a traitor. They've both been in the party for years.
All right, but why pick me?
You're the only other person who knew Kepler's assignment.
Then I'm elected. Is that it?
Yes. Unless Kepler has a different idea, that seems to be it. Meanwhile, you'll check in at the Barrett Hotel with Comrade Lazzotti. He'll stay with you until we make a decision.
Guarding me? Is that what you mean?
Comrade Cvetic, yes. Lazzotti will be guarding you.
Lizotti and I checked into the Barrett Hotel a half an hour later. I was on the spot, and I knew it. But I did have one advantage. I realized that Burkhart and the others were only guessing. They had no real evidence of my connection with the FBI. If I could manage to slip them a red herring, some other fall guy... A plan began to take shape. But somehow, I had to contact the FBI, and fast. I got the chance when Benny decided to take a shower and clean up. I waited until he had the water running, then eased the phone off the hook and gave the operator the FBI number.
Hello?
This is Parker, Ellsworth Parker, that Kepler business.
I'm sorry we couldn't warn you. He got hold of some top-secret stuff this afternoon. We had to move in on him. And where are you now?
Barrett Hotel, 417. Look, I've got to make contact tonight.
All right, where?
I'll try to be downstairs in the Barrett Grill in about an hour. Benny Lizotti will be with me. I'll be covered. So it'll have to be smooth.
Check. Barrett Hotel Grill in an hour. We'll get to you.
Hey, Benny. What's a three-letter word meaning a small, dirty rodent resembling a rat?
How do I know? 3 letters like a rat. Hey, maybe it's the FBI.
Yeah, that's a good guess. But the second letter is A.
Oh, I don't get no place when I try to work them crossword puzzles.
Look, Benny, you don't think I'm working for the lousy FBI, do you?
That ain't up to me, Matt. All I'm doing is being sure that you stick around until they make up their minds. After that, well, I do what they tell me to.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. How's about something to eat, Benny?
You got sandwiches or something?
No, the grill's open downstairs.
Who's buying?
I'll buy.
Well, as long as it's still in the hotel, I don't see why not.
Wait a second. 27 horizontal. Slang term for gullible person who is easily swindled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 letters.
Oh, forget it, Matt. I don't know nothing about that stuff.
Wait. I got it. Sucker. Sucker. Okay, Benny. Let's go. The crossword puzzle was only a blind. I'd folded a sheet of notepaper underneath it, and along with working the puzzle, I'd written some quick instructions to pass along to the FBI. If they were able to make contact, it was all up to them. There was a late supper crowd, and the grill was about half full when Benny and I walked in. We took a booth in the corner, ordered some food, and I looked around the room trying to spot my contact. No luck. 10 minutes passed. And then some little blonde number who had been playing the jukebox apparently decided we looked available.
Hiya, boys. Okay if a lady sits down?
Hey, sure, baby. Just move right in here by me.
Oh, you're too anxious. I'm going to sit over here by Mr. Woman Hater.
Where do you get the woman hater idea?
Because you act like it. You're unfriendly. You know, I used to go around with a guy like you. A fella named Parker. I don't remember his first name.
I see.
Hey, your music stopped. Anybody got some nickels?
Sure, baby. I got some change. What do you want to hear?
Play some rumbas. I'm crazy about rumbas.
Okay, baby.
All right, honey. It's Ellsworth Parker. Are you
Sally
from the...
Dean, Washington office. Transferred out here 3 days ago. What's up?
Plenty. They put this goon on me until they decide whether I'm working for the FBI. Hold still. I'm going to slip a paper into your coat pocket.
Check. Got it. He'll be back in a minute.
Most of the instructions are on that paper. Tell him to use Richards for the frame. Benny knows him.
Richards on the frame-up. Check.
Have him stake the coffee shop from 7 o'clock on. The meeting's called for 8.
Right. And good luck.
Thanks. I'll need it.
Well, Cvetic.
Jason.
Where's Benny? And who's this girl you're with?
She ain't with him, Jason. She's with both of us. What are you doing here?
I live here, you half-wit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you lived at the Barrett.
Where were you, Benny?
Just playing the jukebox. What's eating you, Jason?
Get rid of this girl.
Say, what's coming off here? Hey, I bet you're a cop, a plainclothesman.
I said get out.
Oh, sure, officer. I don't know these guys. I never saw them before in my life. I just said...
Look, you didn't have to do that, Jason. We were just having some fun.
You were given an assignment. Get up to your room and stay there, both of you.
Yeah, but...
Come on, Benny. He's frothing at the mouth already. Why, Cook? What are you so excited about?
I'm going to enjoy breaking news, Cvetic.
You know, that sounds like a personal feeling. With me, the party always comes first. I wonder if you're as loyal as you claim to be.
You...
Good night, comrade. Come on, Benny. Jason was a rabid Marxist, and along with it, he carried a sullen, sadistic hatred toward the whole world. Even the other party members detested him. That's what I was counting on, because I'd picked Jason Cook for my fall guy.
Back to Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI, and the second act of our story.
Jason rode up on the elevator with us and then went on up to his own room a few floors above. Benny and I turned in. I lay there for a while thinking, as I had many times before, that these things weren't happening in Europe or Asia. This was the USA, my own country. I'd grown up in it and never realized until I started working undercover for the FBI. Communist plotters, spies, secret police, the whole rotten authoritarian system, right here in America, and I'd never known it. It was just before daylight when the knock came at the door of our room.
Hey, what's the matter? Hey, was that you, Matt?
Oh, somebody at the door, Benny. I'll get it.
Who do you suppose could be knocking at the door this time of the morning?
Good morning, Comrade Cvetic.
Burkhardt.
Mind if I come in?
Would it make any difference if I did?
Not in the least. However, you're hardly showing the attitude of a loyal party member.
I'm sorry, comrade. I want to get to the bottom of this just as much as you do.
I imagine so. Take the chair there beneath the lamp. Oh, Comrade Lazati, I suggest you go back to sleep. Stay in bed. This doesn't concern you.
Yes, sir. Anything you say.
And now let's review the facts in this matter again.
Now? This time of the morning?
There is no one as truthful as a drowsy witness, Comrade Cvetic. We often prove that principle at the Lenin Institute. Suppose we turn the lamp so.
It's right in my eyes.
Yes, another little technique of the Institute. We've just lost a very valuable agent, and we seem to have a traitor in our midst, an FBI informer. I'm sure it's the desire of both of us, Comrade Cvetic, to discover that tool of the enemy and to eradicate him. Lean back, comrade. Relax. Look at the light. There's nothing to worry about.
The questioning went on for an hour and a half. Burkhardt was clever. He reworded phrases and used trick questions. But when he finally turned off the light and left, I was fairly certain I hadn't fumbled anything. Not that I was any closer to being in the clear, of course. That would depend on what happened in the coffee shop between 7:30 and 8 in the evening.
Well, it's 7:20. I guess we got plenty of time to eat and get over to the meeting by 8 o'clock.
Oh, sure. Plenty of time, Benny. Is all right?
Yeah, it's okay. Oh, man, I'm so hungry I could eat a 3-pound sirloin.
Easy, comrade. That's capitalist food.
Yeah? Well, just wait till we take over and see what we give them to eat.
No share and share alike, Benny?
Not for them crumb bums. We'll be the big shots then. All us guys that done the dirty work.
What about the old Brotherhood of Man?
Ah, that's for the birds, Matt. We'll be the guys with the big cars and the dames. And anybody that don't like it knows what they can do.
You know something, Benny? You and I think exactly alike. I went on eating and talking to Benny, but I kept my eyes on my topcoat, hanging on the wall by the cashier's desk. At 7:35, a small, unobtrusive man a few tables away finished his meal and went up to pay his check. He fished through his pockets for change and casually brushed against my coat. No one else noticed, but I did. The FBI had made a plant. I knew a sealed envelope had been slipped into the pocket of my coat. The first half of my instructions had been carried out. So far, so good. But the second half of the plan kept hanging fire. I knew Jason Cook's habits. I figured him to leave the hotel by 7:40. But at 7:45, he still hadn't come out, and I began to sweat. Then, at 10 minutes till 8, I saw him leave the main entrance and start along the sidewalk outside the window by our table.
Hey, look, man. There's Jason leaving the hotel.
Where? Oh, yeah, must be on his way to the meeting. Oh, looks like he's run into a friend.
Yeah, he's stopping to talk to somebody else. No, I guess not. Guy must have just wanted a light. Jason's giving him some matches.
Yeah, I guess that is it. The fellow's doing a lot of talking, though.
Well, it might be somebody that lives here at the... Matt.
What's the matter, Benny?
I know that guy.
Oh?
He questioned me once. His name's Richards. He's an FBI agent.
Oh, you must be mistaken, Benny. Look, he's shaking hands with Jason, patting him on the back.
I'm not mistaken. His name's Richards, and he's FBI. How come he's so friendly with Jason?
I don't know. But I'm beginning to wonder.
Why? What's the wonder about? Jason's the guy they're looking for. He's the stool pigeon.
Oh, there must be some other
explanation. That match business was nothing but a cover-up. I'll bet he handed a report or something to Richards right then.
Yeah. Or took something from him.
That's it. A payoff. That's what it was. Look, Matt, will you back me up?
Sure, Benny. I'll back you up. It was 8 o'clock when Benny and I climbed the stairs to the meeting hall. Jason, Burkhart, and Bemis were already inside. As we took off our topcoats in the anteroom, I managed to slip my planted envelope into the pocket of Jason's coat. Then we went on inside.
You're late, Cvetic. What's the matter? Afraid to face the music?
I've got nothing to be afraid of, Jason. As I told Comrade Burkhart this morning when he interrogated me.
Hardly an interrogation, Comrade Cvetic. Rather a mutual attempt to arrive at the facts.
All right, a mutual attempt, then. Well, is the verdict in?
Matt, our lawyer got in to see Comrade Kepler today.
Yeah? What happened, Bemis?
Kepler says there was no reason for him being picked up except on a tip-off.
I see.
And he picks you for the number one probability.
Why? On what basis?
Basis? You're the only one it could have been. What more basis does anybody need?
Then apparently in the face of nothing more than a wild guess, all the work I've done for the party doesn't mean a thing.
It's a matter of total security, the good of the cause itself. Don't you agree with that principle, Comrade Cvetic?
Yes, of course I agree, but
now, wait a second, everybody. I got a question here of my own I want to ask.
Benny, you're only here on an assignment. Nobody's interested in your question.
Well, I think they might be if they heard it.
Comrade Lazari.
Jason, who was that guy you met out in front of the hotel a few minutes ago? The one that shook hands with you and patted you on the back.
I don't know who he was. He wanted to borrow a match. What difference does it make?
It might make quite a lot, Jason. Benny says he knows the guy.
Well, what of it?
Plenty. The guy's name is Richards. He's an FBI agent.
Are you certain of that?
Sure I am. He picked me up once. You don't think I'd forget him, do you?
I tell you, the man asked me for a match, commented on the weather. I don't know why he shook hands. I didn't know he was an FBI.
He gave you something, too, Jason. What was it?
Nothing. That's a lie. You can search me if you want.
I think that's an excellent suggestion. If you don't mind.
They're lying, both of them.
I only know what I saw, Jason. I didn't think anything of it myself until Benny recognized the man.
It doesn't seem to be anything incriminating. Unless... Didn't you wear a topcoat this evening, Comrade Cook?
Sure he did. He had it on when he was talking to the guy. Where'd you hide it, Jason? What'd you do with it?
It's in the anteroom, you fool. What did you think I'd do with it?
Would you bring the coat, Comrade Bemis?
Yes, of course.
This is ridiculous. Why, everybody knows.
Sit down, Comrade Cook. As I think back over it, I recall you as being the one most energetic in pressing the suspicion against Comrade Cvetic. I find that somewhat interesting.
Sure. He was just trying to cover up for his own game.
Here's the coat, Comrade Burkhardt.
Ah, yes. Nothing in this pocket.
I told you there wasn't.
Just a moment.
That's not mine. I never saw that envelope before.
Sealed. No address.
No, it's a frame-up. Somebody planted that on me.
Hey, money.
Yes, $500. Is that the price you got for Kepler, comrade?
It's a lie. I don't understand it. We've got to get to the bottom of this and find out...
Be quiet! Comrade Cvetic, seems we owe you an apology.
Well, that's all right, comrade. I'm just glad we found out the truth. And happy that I can go on serving the party as I have in the past.
That movie made me hungry, Matt. Go for a sandwich? The grill's still open.
No, I think I'll grab a taxi and go home, Benny.
I wonder what they'll do to Jason.
Oh, run him out of town. Beat him up a little, maybe.
I wish they'd give me that job. When you think about him being the one who was always trying to push everybody else around, and all the time he was stooling to the FBI.
You never know, Benny. You just never know.
Matt, it's a body.
Yeah.
Somebody jumped out of the hotel.
Yeah. I wonder if that... Come on, Benny. Pardon me. Pardon me, please.
Matt, it's...
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Matt, it's Jason.
It was.
He couldn't take it. Couldn't face the disgrace. He committed suicide.
Maybe. I didn't know whether Jason Cook had fallen, jumped, or whatever. I still don't know for sure. But I do know that Burkhardt left town early the next morning. As Bemis put it, his work here was finished. I left Benny and walked along the street alone. I felt sick all over. Maybe Jason deserved it, but I hadn't planned to put him on that kind of a spot. I tried to push it out of my mind. An undercover agent can't afford feelings any more than he can afford friends or a family. And the one main objective was still safe. I was still on the job. Still a communist for the FBI. I still walked alone.
Our star, Dana Andrews, will return in a moment.
This is Dana Andrews with a word about the story you've just heard. In this story, as in all others, names, dates, and places are fictitious to protect innocent persons. Many of these stories are based on incidents in the life of Matt Cvetic, who worked undercover for the FBI. Next week, another fantastic adventure. Join us, won't you?
Cvetic went to work in the 1940s, around 1942, to become a part of the American Communist Party as somebody who investigated them. And he did so, and he was offered compensation for a while by the FBI, and by the time we got into the 50s, Cvetic was working for the FBI, but he became kind of erratic, according to reports, undermined his credibility with the Bureau as well as the Communist Party, and he had been identified as a potential FBI mole by a Hearst newspaper reporter. Cvetic, arrested for drunken disorderly in the 40s, said, "You can't do this to me. I work for the FBI," blowing his cover. He had difficulty maintaining his cover, and the FBI finally let him go. Well, in the 50s, he ended up becoming testifying before the House Un-American Activities Committee in 1950, he testified. And during his testimony, he named several hundred people as members of the Communist Party. Now, I don't know how reliable it is because he was erratic at the time. In 1950, he was also featured in the TV series We the People. He published his story in serial format in three issues of the Saturday Evening Post, and it became a radio serial and a feature film. The feature radio show was starring Dana Andrews, as you just heard. The movie done by a favorite one of ours, and that was Frank Lovejoy. Good stuff. And I have to tell you that his story was damaged by a lot of his own misdeeds, shall we say. He was nowhere near what you hear Dana Andrews portraying. If you had somebody that level-headed to do that, it would have been one thing. But sadly, Cvetic was not a Dana Andrews. I was a communist for the FBI going back 73 years, May 14th, 1952, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow's show, comedy with Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden, Phil Harris, Jack Benny, and the incomparable Hildegard. As it is what it's Hildegard, she was a chanteuse of the day, shall we say. Friday, Jack Benny, George and Gracie, The Great Gildersleeve, and Life with Luigi. On Saturday, Jimmy Durante, Gary Moore from 1946, Father Knows Best, My Friend Irma, and The Bird's Eye Open House. You'll hear some Dinah Shore singing and some weirdness from Groucho Marx. We'll get back to drama on Sunday with Suspense. Orson Welles in a two-part suspense episode, Donovan's Brain. You'll hear the first part on Sunday. Dick Colmer is Boston Blackie, Sergeant Preston of the Utah, and Tyrone Power in Freedom USA. That's just some of what's coming out here in the next few days on Classic Radio Theater. Next, Calling All Cars.
If your daily routine never varies, chances are you're heading for a great big case of monotony. Everybody needs a break once in a while, and sometimes a vacation just once or twice a year isn't enough. But a break once a week would more than fill the bill. What could you do with that leisure time? Here's the answer to that. You can vary your routine with a fascinating and vital pursuit, spotting planes for America's Ground Observer Corps. It's exciting, it's interesting, and just 2 hours a week of your spare time is all that's needed to keep up the 24-hour schedule of the GOC. Men and women from teenage up can help the Air Corps cover the blind spots in our radar system by volunteering for the Ground Observer Corps, a civilian component of the Air Defense Command. You'll be trained and supervised by officers and airmen of the Air Defense Command to spot planes in your area. Find out from your local civilian defense office how you can be a civilian ground observer.
I have to take just a moment here because some people tend to roast me for my comments over Matt Cvetic. Cvetic did the right thing in working with the FBI, but he was an erratic character. And if we are to believe the good stuff he did, we have to look at the bad stuff he did too. And he did do some weird things over the time. So Cvetic was a good character, but also a truly troubled character. Now, let's get on here with an episode of Calling All Cars going back 90 years. You hear what crime drama was back before police paid attention to things such as the Miranda warnings and the like. 90 years ago, May 14th, 1935, the story of the murder in the Vineyard.
Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Calling all cars, attention all Fresno County Sheriff's cars, broadcast 79, regarding a murder. The body of Faustin Lasser, found on his ranch near Fresno. That's all.
Tonight, Rio Grande welcomes Fresno to that fast-growing list of cities who fight crime with Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Fresno has speeded up all police cars, as well as ambulances, fire engines, and other emergency equipment, with the gasoline that powers more police cars wherever it is sold than any other brand.
Congratulations, Fresno, from the Los Angeles Police Department. We've been using Rio Grande cracked gasoline in all Los Angeles police cars for many years.
Good work, Fresno. The police of Oakland are glad you choose the same fine gasoline that now powers all Oakland emergency cars.
The police of Berkeley are glad to see their judgment confirmed by Fresno police. Berkeley changed to Rio Grande cracked many months ago.
The city of Merced is delighted that our neighboring city of Fresno also uses Rio Grande cracked gasoline. We warn criminals that our police cars are now better equipped than ever before.
How about a word from Arizona? You California cities need Rio Grande cracked gasoline for speed and power. The sheriff's cars of Arizona counties must cover plenty of territory to catch criminals. We need power and speed. We have to have mileage from our gasoline, too. We're glad to tell you that Rio Grande cracked gasoline gives us everything.
Rio Grande is mighty proud that so many cities specify cracked gasoline exclusively for emergency engines. But we don't want the public to think that we make a special gasoline just for police cars. No, indeed. These cities use exactly the same Rio Grande cracked gasoline that you can get from your independent neighborhood dealer. At no extra cost, you too can enjoy police car performance. And now it is our great pleasure to present Sheriff George J. Overholt of Fresno County. Sheriff Overholt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the West. I am honored to join the ranks of the peace officers whose cases have been dramatized on Calling All Cars. Situated as we are in Fresno, midway between two of the largest cities in the West, our policing problems are often of a cooperative nature, as we are called upon to assist the authorities of Los Angeles and San Francisco in intercepting the flight of criminals from one of these cities to the other. Nevertheless, we have our own crime problems. During Prohibition, we had many cases of hijacking from the bonded wineries of our famed vineyards, which gave us much trouble. And just as in the great metropolitan centers, so in the smaller cities, we find that wherever human beings congregate, crime and vice will attempt to flourish. Our job is to keep it at a minimum. From the files of Fresno County, Calling All Cars presents tonight an intriguing case which began years ago, and the final sentence of which was not written until quite recently. We hope that you will enjoy this dramatization. Our story tonight begins nearly 20 years ago in Fresno, California, in front of a cheap burlesque house.
15 beautiful dancing girls, count them folks, 15, straight from Broadway in New York City. And Melville Lanier, the famous dancer of daring creation. She dances without moving her feet, the dance of a hero. Step up, gentlemen, and show me your video left.
Give me 2.
Yes, sir. 2 tickets. And 50 cents out of $1. There you are. How many, please?
Hey, are you sure this show is worth 2 bits?
Well, I know you'll be entertained.
I gotta be sure.
I know you'll enjoy this show.
Yeah? Say, what are you doing afterwards?
I'll be around.
What do you say, me and you go someplace and chin a bit, huh?
That might be a nice idea.
I'll see you right here, huh?
Fine. Right after the show.
Okay, give me a ticket then.
Here you are.
Don't forget.
I won't. How many? Police.
Yeah, it's me. What's the idea of wasting your time talking to that rube?
That's none of your business. You gotta promise lots of things sometimes to sell tickets.
Yeah? Well, you're never going to make any big dough selling tickets in this dump. None of these hicks got any dough in them.
I'll see you after the show, Lee. I don't want to argue with you now.
To me right now, and you'll like it.
I gotta sell tickets.
There ain't any more customers. This show's dying on its feet, and you know it. Melba LeVere and 15 Broadway beauties, my foot. A lot of rejection from the Barbary Coast honky-tonks. What are you going to do when they close up and you're out of a job?
I'll find another one.
You bet you will. I've found one for you already.
What do you mean?
Yeah. See this advertisement in the paper? Wanted, housekeeper. Good home, not much work. From Clair, Foston, Lacer, Blocks 32, Fresno.
I don't want to be a housekeeper. I like it here. There's lights and noise. Maybe an Easy Mark will come along.
Listen, baby, the Easy Mark has come along. This old buzzard is lousy with dough. He lives on a ranch in the outskirts of town, all by himself.
Lee, I tell you, I'm not interested.
Oh, yes, you are. You're going to do just as I say. Now, you get out there tomorrow and get that job. Put on the charm for the old monkey.
So, boss, yeah, quiet you down now. Gotta get my milking done before sundown. Yeah, that's better. You won't be jealous, will you, bossy girl, if that advertisement I put in the paper works, will you? I'll see that my housekeeper treats you nice, bossy. Yes, I promise you that. Huh? Who's that? What you want?
Are you Mr. Lazer?
Yes, that I am.
I've come to see you about the ad you put in the paper.
Oh, you did, huh? Well, how long you been standing there at the door?
Just a minute.
Didn't hear what I was saying, did you?
Why, no. Was you saying something?
Yes, I was talking to Bossy. I get lonely, have to talk to someone, and Bossy never talks back.
I see.
So, you come about the advertisement, eh?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Patricia Wells.
Where you from?
Madeira.
Married?
No.
Ever been married?
No.
Uh-huh. Old enough to be married, ain't you? And more.
Oh, yeah, I'm nearly 30. But the right man never came along.
Yeah, dare say he will someday, eh? Yeah, dare say he will. Nice plump girl like you. Pretty you are.
Thank you.
Well, you don't need to blush. It's just an old man saying it. You look strong. Think you'd like to take care of me? Keep the house up and help me with the work around the place?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would.
Pay you $10 a month and you keep.
Well, it ain't much, but I think I like you, and so I'll take it.
Well, you don't say. You think you like me? Well, can you milk?
Oh, sure.
Let's see you milk Bossy here.
All right.
There now, Bossy, quiet. Yeah, so. There you be.
How's that?
Fine. Why, as well or better than I can do it.
I learned how when I was a little girl.
My, what pretty hair you got.
Oh.
Yellow, like corn tassels waving in the sunlight. And your cheek, pink as a ripe peach, and soft as a touch. Do you think you'll like it here, Patricia?
I know I will.
It does not take Bucks the Manor more than a few weeks to lead the dazzled and bewildered old rancher to the altar. Life becomes an unbelievably rosy paradise for lonely, toothless old Foston Lacer. Everywhere his bride goes, the old man's hungry eyes follow her. For the rejuvenation of the spirit which she has brought him, she knows he would do anything. So one evening at supper...
Yeah, my, Patricia. You certainly are fine victuals.
Do I measure up as a cook, Foston?
You measure up every way, Patricia. Every way. I don't know how I ever got along before you come to me. Certain that Sadie, my first wife, never could turn out eating food like this.
Foston, you shouldn't speak of the dead that way.
Oh, well, I don't mean no disrespect. Sadie was a good woman, far as she went.
Foston, I'm worried about you.
Worried about me? What you worried about me for?
I'm worried about your health.
About my health? Why, I never felt better in my life. Eating good and sleeping good.
Yeah, that's all very well. Well, there's a lot of hard work around here, and I think you need help.
I don't need no help. I've been working this ranch 20 years by myself. Guess I can go on now. Especially since I got you.
But if you had another hand, you could plant more vines in that south field, and you could put in a couple of more cows. Why didn't pay?
Don't want to. I got enough money in the bank. There's several $1,000s I got. And I got you, and that's all I need. I don't want no one else around here.
Well, Faustin, here's what I'm driving at. My cousin's coming to California.
Your cousin?
Yeah, my cousin George. He wrote me and said he was leaving the farm back in Idaho and wanted to know if I could find him a job. So I thought maybe we could give him work.
Oh, well, that's different. Seeing as how it's your cousin and you're asking me to do it, yeah, that's a lot different.
Then you will take him on as a hired hand?
Yeah, I guess we can manage to do that. Fix him up a little room out in the stable.
Oh, Faustin, you're so sweet.
Sweet? Sweet.
And so, in much less time than it takes to travel from Idaho, Cousin George arrives at the little ranch. From the first, old man Lasserre dislikes him, but for the sake of his wife, he keeps his opinions to himself. For several days, Cousin George makes himself useful around the ranch, and then one evening at supper time, he and Anna pause on the back porch.
All right, Anna, let's get it over with now.
I tell you, I can't do it, Lee. I'm scared.
Get up and do as I tell you.
Lee!
Never mind the arguments. Remember, you're still my wife, even though you are married to that old buzzard. Now, listen. When I say I'm sick, you let him have it with a hammer. I've got the gun.
What's the matter, you two? Come on in here. The victuals are getting cold.
All right, Anna, let's go.
What's the matter with you, George? Letting all this good food go to waste?
I ain't hungry.
You ain't hungry? Why not? You put in 16 hours a day planting those vines.
I don't know. I just ain't hungry. Guess I'm sick.
Oh, that's too bad. Hey, Patricia, see if you can find some of that castor oil in the medicine chest.
All right, I'll go right away.
I don't want no castor oil. I just feel sick. Patricia, I think I'm sick.
You mean now?
Yeah, now.
Patricia, what are you doing to that hammer?
You'll find out soon enough, you old fool.
What do you mean?
Oh, what do you think she married you for, love?
Hey, keep away from me.
Shut up, you. Give it home, Anna.
Patricia!
Oh, George, listen.
What?
A dog howling at his departed spirit.
Oh, rats, get hold of yourself. Now, listen, you know what you're going to do and to say. I'll never think of looking for him where we buried him. You better plant something in that patch.
Me? Well, where are you going?
I'm taking it on the lamb for a while. Remember, you do everything just as I told you.
George, don't leave me here with him.
Now, forget it. First thing you do, you clean up the house.
George, come back.
I'll see you later. In the meantime, you'll be hearing from me.
No, Miss Lasserre, you home?
Oh, hello, Mrs. Stanley. How are you today?
Oh, fine, thank you. I was just driving into town. Wondered if you'd like a ride.
Well, that's kind of you, Mrs. Stanley, but I got a lot of work to do today. I don't think I'd better, really.
Oh, now that's too bad. My, ain't it hot today?
Yeah, it is hot.
Haven't seen Mr. Lasserre around. Is he taken sick?
Well, no. No, he's very well. He's gone away on a little trip.
On a little trip? Well, where'd he go?
Down to Mexico. He has some mining property down there, you know.
Oh, yes. Seems I do remember him saying something about his mining stocks. That was before you married him. He was more neighborly then. How about the hired man? I suppose he's staying on, taking care of you.
No, he's gone, too.
Well, now do tell. So you're all alone, eh?
Yeah. George got a better job over in Porterville.
Well, must be hard on you keeping the place up all by yourself.
I managed somehow.
Mr. Lasserre be gone long?
Well, I'm not sure. Several months, anyway.
Well, if you get lonely, you must drop over to see me. After all, we should be good neighbors.
Yes, indeed. I'll do that, Mrs. Stanley.
Well, guess I better get along to town now.
Goodbye, Mrs. Stanley, and do drop in again.
Indeed, I will. Goodbye, Miss Lasser.
Bye, Mr. Stanley. Snooping old gossip.
A few days later, Anna receives a letter from her husband, that is, George, and promptly leaves for town for the first time since the murder of Lasser. Her first stop is the bank, where the late rancher's money is deposited.
Why, good afternoon, Mrs. Lasser.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walsh.
You're quite a stranger.
Yeah, I don't get in very often.
I hear Mr. Lasser's out of town. Mrs. Stanley was in last week.
I expected you'd hear it from her. Yeah, he's gone to Mexico to look after his mining properties.
Well, so you're a widow for a while, eh?
A widow? Oh, yeah, for a while.
What can I do for you?
Well, I just got a letter from my husband, and he enclosed a letter to you. Here it is.
Please honor my wife's checks for whatever amount she cares to draw against my account. Very well, Mrs. Lasser. We'll be glad to take care of you. I suppose you'd like some money today?
Yeah,
How much?
about $100.
All right, I'll get it for you right away.
For several months, Anna draws comfortable sums against Lasser's account, money which she splits jointly with her husband, who remains in hiding at Exeter, a small town nearby. Then one day she appears at the bank with another order.
So Mr. Lasser has decided to remain in Mexico indefinitely. He wants me to sell out and join him there.
Well, we'll miss you, Mrs. Lasser.
Thank you. My husband tells me you've made him offers in the past for his property, and he's made out and signed this bill of sale, which I've signed too.
How much does he want for the property?
$5,000. He tells me you offered him that several years ago.
Oh, I see. I don't quite remember. But perhaps Mr. Howard will.
Well, here's the bill of sale, and here's his order to pay the money over to me. Can you take care of this right away?
Well, not this minute, Mrs. Lasser. That's quite a sum of money. Could you come back tomorrow?
Well, if I have to.
I'm afraid you will.
I want to get started to Mexico as soon as possible. I miss my husband so.
Yes, I can appreciate that fact.
There'd be no way to get the money later in the day. I'll be here until late this afternoon.
No, I'm afraid not. I guess you'll have to come back tomorrow.
Oh, very well, then. I'll be in the morning.
That'll be fine, Mrs. Lasser. We'll have everything taken care of by then.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh, and goodbye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Lasser. Can you come in a moment, Howard?
Yes, sir. What is it?
Did you ever discuss the purchase of the Lasser property with old man Lasser?
Why, no.
Neither did I.
Why, what's up?
Well, Mrs. Lasser just came in and asked $5,000 for the property. Had a bill of sale made out by Lasser and said that we had offered him that amount for the place.
Well, that's strange.
I don't like the looks of this thing. Doesn't sound right.
Are you going to pay her the money?
I am not. I'm going to call up the constable and tell him about it.
The banker informs Constable Drent of Fresno County of the circumstances of Mrs. Lasser's request. An investigation is started, and Constable Drent, shadowing Mrs. Lasser, sees her meet Lee Hammond, alias Cousin George, her husband, in front of the Fresno post office. He follows them out to the Lasser ranch.
Beg your pardon, Mr. Lasser, but I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Who are you?
I'm Constable Drent.
What do you want to ask me questions about?
About your husband.
What do you want to know about him?
I want to know where he is.
Well, he's in Mexico.
I see. And who's this gentleman here?
He's my cousin, George.
At the same time your husband did, didn't he?
Hey, listen, what's the big idea? Can I visit with my cousin without a lot of annoyance from the cops?
Now, don't get excited. I just want to get at the bottom of this.
At the bottom of what?
Mrs. Lasser, are you sure your husband's in Mexico?
Of course he is. He's down at the Suara Mines. He's staying with Thomas Farley, the superintendent of the mines.
He told you he'd been offered $5,000 by the bank for this property?
Sure he told her that. I was working here at the time. I heard him say it at dinner one night.
Well, that's very interesting. As a matter of fact, the bank at one time wanted to buy this place and offered him $10,000 and refused to sell. Said he'd never part with the place. Well, you come in with an order to sell for $5,000.
Well, he wanted to get rid of the place quick.
Sure, that's it. And he wanted my cousin here to get down to him in Mexico as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound plausible. The bank would have paid $10,000 as soon as $5,000. If Lasser really wanted to sell, he'd probably have asked $15,000. I'm afraid there's something crooked about this whole thing.
Well, I haven't any idea what you're driving at. My husband is very eccentric, of course.
Yeah, there's no place to go into all that. You two'd better come along to headquarters with me where we can talk this over in more detail.
Now, look here. You can't go...
You come quietly, or will I have to place you under arrest?
The officers concentrate their questioning on Mrs. Lasserre. For hours, she sticks to her story, telling them repeatedly about Lasserre's trip to Mexico.
Mrs. Lasserre, we're all tired.
I know we are. I've told you the truth. Why don't you let me alone?
You haven't told the truth, Mrs. Lasserre.
You're lying, Mrs. Lasserre.
Where's your husband?
Don't tell us he's in Mexico. We don't believe you.
Where is he?
He's in
You're
Mexico.
lying.
Is he dead?
Who killed him? You killed him.
No. Stop. Oh, please don't ask me any more questions.
Where is Faustin Lasserre?
20 feet from the ranch house. Buried under the garden patch. With a skull caved in and a bullet through his head. That's where he is.
Who killed him?
No, I didn't. Lee made me do it. He's really my husband. He made me marry Lasserre for his money. He was always crazy about money. He made me do it. Lee ruined my life. He married me when I was 15. Oh, I've never had a chance. I've never had a life like other girls. Lee made a tramp out of me. He made me marry the old man. He told me to hit him with a hammer, and then he shot him. He did the whole thing. Lee's the murderer. Get Lee. Hang him, the dirty lout.
So she squealed, huh? Well, that's okay. If she's going to talk, I'll talk too. She did it. She planned the whole thing. And if she swings for this job, she'll get just what's coming to her. She figured out the whole deal. Couldn't make enough clipping those guys at the show house she's working at. What kind of life do you think I had with that woman? I loved her, so I put up with it for years. But I'm not going to let her squealing lies send me up. She's the brains of this job, and I'm going to tell enough to send her where she belongs.
But in spite of Hammond's braggadocio and Anna's hysteria, both changed their pleas to guilty after the old rancher's body is disinterred from his shallow grave. And in spite of their attempts to shift the blame on each other, they are both sentenced to life imprisonment. Anna in San Quentin, Hammond in Folsom. And here our story should end. But it doesn't. Only the first chapter closes. 10 years pass. Then a short chapter is written at the Folsom Prison Farm, when a trustee named Charles Lee Hammond escapes. 5 more years pass. It is late summer of 1931. A hitchhiker stands by a culvert outside of Merced. His wrist is tired flagging fast expensive cars, but his hopes rise anew as a sputtering old wreck puffs down the highway.
Hey, want a lift?
I'll say I do.
Okay, hop in.
Thanks. Say, you look familiar to me.
You never saw me before.
You look a lot like Snake Hammond, a friend of mine who escaped from the prison farm at Folsom a few years ago. Only he didn't have a mustache.
Smarter than serving time, wasn't it, Eddie?
What?
Don't think I'd forget you, do you?
So you are Snake Hammond?
Yeah, with a mustache.
Well, I'll be a so-and-so. Last person in the world I'd expect to meet.
Well, just forget that you met me.
Sure, you know me, Snake.
And it ain't Snake Hammond anymore. It's Robert Dorsey.
Where you living?
Oh, down in Fresno.
What? Why, that's where you turned the trick that sent you up, ain't it?
Sure.
Ain't you afraid to go back there?
No, it's the safest place in the world. Last place they'd think to look for me.
Yeah, I guess you're right at that.
Sure. And I'm doing all right, too. Gone straight. Got a good-looking wife.
A wife? But your wife's still doing time in Quentin, ain't she?
Hammond's wife is. But Dorsey's wife is living with Dorsey in Fresno, see?
I see. What they don't know won't hurt them, huh?
Sure. You gotta be cagey. Take this car business, for instance. I bought it in the name of Bert Grant. You know, cover up your tracks.
Sure, it's always a good idea. Well, here we are in Merced. That's as far as I go.
What are you gonna do here?
Try to pick me up a job, glomming fruit. Glad to have seen you, Snake. I mean, Dorsey.
Yeah, glad to have seen you, Eddie.
This'll be all right at this corner
Okay. Look me up if you ever get down around Fresno.
Okay, I will. So long.
So long.
Hup Coupe, 1923 model. In the name of Bert Grant. And there's $200 on that guy's head.
is only a matter of a few days before Sheriff Overholt of Fresno County calls Deputy Sheriff W.H. Collins into his office.
Harry, I just got a tip from the warden at Folsom that Charles Lee Hammond is living in Fresno.
Who's he, Sheriff?
Killed a rancher out here about 15 years ago. Went up for life and escaped in 1926. Warden says he's driving a Hup Coupe 1923 model, registered under the name of Bert A. Grant, General Delivery, Fresno. Go out and bring this guy in.
Okay, Sheriff.
But Collins' cheery acceptance of the assignment is no indication of the task he faces locating the one single second-hand dealer among the scores in Fresno who had sold a 1923 Hup Coupe. He sticks with the job for weeks and finally one day locates the seller of the car. But all he can discover regarding the purchaser is that he worked in a packing plant. Another search for a 1923 Hup parked outside a packing plant is rewarded days later, only to be a discouragement when Collins sees a young man of 25 drive off in the car. However, he follows the car to a trim little house on a side street. From neighbors, he discovers that this is the home of Mr. and Mrs. Robert Dorsey, and that the young man is Mrs. Dorsey's son by another marriage. Equipped with this information, Collins approaches a man feeding chickens in the backyard of the house.
I beg your pardon. Are you Mr. Dorsey? Yeah. What is it? I just wanted to ask you about that old car. What about it? Did you buy it? Sure. Paid $30 for it. What of it? You bought it personally? Yeah. And your name is Dorsey? Yeah. And why'd you buy it under the name of Bert A. Grant? What? Say, who are you anyway? Collins of the sheriff's office. I think you better come and tell us some more about that car. Okay, sure. I'll go with you, only can I go in the house first and get a coat? No, you can't. No funny business. I'm sure the sheriff won't mind talking to you in your shirt sleeve. Yeah, but you see, I'll pick up the police car here and make it snappy. Okay, nothing to get excited about. I can explain about that phony name. You see, I was figuring on pulling freight on the old lady, and I didn't want to be followed. You know how it is. Sure, I know how it is.
A few moments later, Deputy Sheriff Collins ushers Hammond, alias Dorsey, alias Grant, into the sheriff's office.
Well, Sheriff, here's your Bert A. Grant. Good. Look here, Sheriff, what's the big idea of all this fuss over a fake name on a registration slip?
Now, let's save everyone's time. You're an escaped convict, and your name is Charles Lee Hammond.
Now, you're crazy. My name's Robert Dorsey. I never heard of anyone named Hammond. You're all wrong.
Let's see your fingers. Uh-huh. I'd know him anywhere. You're Charles Lee Hammond, all right.
You can't bluff me. You can't identify fingerprints by looking at them. Turn up your right sleeve. Why? You know why. Hammond had a tattoo mark on his right arm. It's a horseshoe with the words good luck on it. Okay, you win. There it is. Good luck. Good luck. On nuts.
No trial this time. The law's procedure was clear-cut. 24 hours later, Charles Lee Hammond, alias George, alias Bert Grant, alias Robert Dorsey, was back in Folsom and outfitted in the striped uniform that marks the escaped convict. And in San Quentin remains Anna, his wife, the oldest woman inmate in terms of incarceration. She has never heard of her husband's escape, his bigamous marriage, in which he duplicated one of her crimes, and his recapture and permanent reestablishment of residence within Folsom's gray walls. But Fresno officers fight on in their endless battle with crime. Today they are better equipped than ever before. Rio Grande cracked gasoline rides with the police, increasing their power, increasing their speed. Yet as police records in many cities prove, Rio Grande costs no more because its patented cracking process develops extra power, mileage, and speed from every drop. Use the gasoline your police use. Rio Grande cracked.
Calling all cars, attention all cars. Cancellation broadcast 79 regarding a murder. Suspects in this case now in custody. That's all. Rosenquist.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
A way different age 90 years ago, from May 14th, 1935, Calling All Cars on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage at classicradio.stream. Coming up next, Gangbusters.
This year, 32,300 people are doomed to death.
By Cornelius Happ, I never stopped to realize.
You know, Harlow, it takes 10 seconds and 336 feet to stop a car traveling at 60 miles an hour. That's why brains are more important than brakes. Why the man behind the wheel should beware of the speed at which he's driving. Why safe and sane are synonymous words to drivers who value their fellows' lives as well as their own.
In other words, Hap, just because Autolite resistor spark plugs give your car more pep, don't try to use all of it, eh?
Exactly, Harlow. But there's more. The Good Samaritan is the gracious guy or gal who not only knows and keeps the rules of the road, but also keeps his temper in his head when some bungling Benny gives him the road hog treatment.
Yes, Hap, it's sad but true that one right way to wrong driving is to always demand your highway rights. Be sure to be safe.
Right, Harlow.
Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues now as we go back 70 years to May 14th, 1955, for an episode of Gangbusters and the case of the tapped telephone, rather.
Gangbusters. Gangbusters, the only national program that brings you authentic police case histories, has asked John J. Sullivan, retired, former Deputy Commissioner and Chief of Detectives, New York Police Department, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Commissioner Sullivan.
There's been a good deal in the newspapers recently about wiretaps, Gangbusters listeners. Tonight's case deals with an official telephone tap granted by the courts to enable the police to fulfill a function as important as the solution to a crime, which is the prevention of one. It began in New York City late one summer afternoon when Detectives Lawrence Barton and Frederick Dorset, attached to an outlying precinct, were walking along a street in the Upper Bronx following their tour of duty.
Hey, Larry. What? The fellow that just got off that bus.
The tall man, friend?
No, the guy in the lumber jacket, walking just ahead of him.
Yeah?
Wasn't he in the lineup when we covered it last week?
I can't tell. Can't get a good look at his face.
Heavy features, big nose, wide-set eyes.
Maybe that traffic light will hold him.
What do you think, Larry?
Yeah. He's a burglary suspect. Long record, 3 or 4 convictions. Can't remember his name.
Wasn't he on parole?
I don't quite recall, Fred.
Well, if he is, he's breaking it. He's going into that bar.
Feel like a beer, Freddie?
Yeah. Beer might taste good at that.
In following the known lawbreaker into the bar, Gangbusters listeners, Detectives Fred Dorset and Larry Barton were following good police procedure. Criminals are seldom lone wolves, and it is important to establish and identify the places in which they meet to plan their crimes. The man they'd seen in the lineup was ordering a drink as Dorset and Barton took their positions a few feet from him.
What'll it be for you, fellas?
Beer. Same, please.
George, Big, you been in? Just went down to the corner to get a paper. Has he had it from, you know? I don't think so. When it comes in, tell him I'm in the back booth. Okay.
My bartender.
2 more?
Yeah. You got another phone? I see that one's out of order.
Yeah, there's one in the rear. Thanks. Hi, Biggie.
Gus show up, Joe?
He's in back, Biggie.
You don't have any jobs around, do you, bartender? My friend and me are new here in town.
Huh? What's your line?
Oh, I'm not particular. Just so long as it pays.
I haven't heard of anything. Excuse me, I have to come through the bar right under here to get to the phone.
Sure.
Hello? Yeah, hang on. Gus? For you.
Hello? This is Gus. Well, we've sure been waiting for you. Think you make us something look... I thought the sign said the phone was out of order, bartender.
There must have been something at the phone exchange or something. I guess they fixed it.
Okay. I can't talk to Biggie about it. We'll give you a call. Probably take a day or two. Sure. Yes, so long. Want me to take the out-of-order sign down for you, bartender?
No.
No?
What's the difference? There's another phone in the joint. This keeps the line open in case someone wants to call in.
A few minutes later, Detectives Dorset and Barton left the Bronx bar. But instead of separating and going to their respective homes, they went by subway to the Bureau of Criminal Identification at Center Street in downtown Manhattan. There, while Fred Dorset checked the mug file, Larry Barton checked the alias file.
Got him yet, Fred? Yeah. He's on parole, all right. Gus Sickel. 9 arrests, 3 convictions. All burglary and robbery. You find anything?
There's one biggie in the alias file. A man named Albert Toller. Here's a card.
Well, there. Larry, you can't say Albert Biggie Toller hasn't devoted his life to his work. 1948, robbery, suspended sentence. 1949, robbery, drew 2 years. 1951, mugging suspect. Couldn't make it stick. 5 more.
They're casing a job, Freddie.
Yeah, they sure are.
You think they want the third guy in, whoever he is? It figures. It's nice to get a good arrest on these guys, wouldn't it? One where we got them cold and there's no way they can get out of it.
Yeah. 17 arrests between them, only 4 convictions. Would be kind of helpful to get a good arrest on these bums.
Gangbusters listeners, there's something you must understand about policemen. When an officer makes an arrest, he must be sure it's a proper one. This is a safeguard set up by our Constitution and one we must protect. A check with Gus Sickel's parole officer revealed that Sickel was working as a mechanic's helper in a garage. And the next morning, Detectives Dorset and Barton met with Lieutenant Richard Jackson, commanding officer of their squad.
Sickel and Toller are using this bar as a hangout, Lieutenant. They've got an out-of-order sign on one of the public phone booths. The phone works.
That's right, Lieutenant. Gus Sickel received a call on it. He expected it.
You better get back in there, boys. But you better make it look good.
Oh, I did the talking before, Lieutenant.
What'd you say?
No one in town, looking for a job, that sort of thing. Same for Larry.
If Fred took the lead, Lieutenant, I let him go.
Well, that sounds all right. Fred, supposing you go back, be complaining about the fact that your pal has got onto a job that you still haven't. You're willing to try anything. Maybe if you hang around enough, buy a few drinks, say you're running out of money, as long as you got it, you spend. Easy come, easy go, you know. You might be able to learn something.
Could I draw some money for that, Lieutenant? If I bought drinks, as long as it'd kill me.
Yeah, I guess I could get you $25 for that, Fred.
Hi. Give me a beer, will you?
Sure.
Here you are.
Thanks.
What do you know about that, Philip? Remember yesterday afternoon? I was in here with this friend of mine.
Sure, I remember.
This friend of mine bumps into a guy looking for ice cream salesman to drive those little trucks around.
Sure.
My buddy's working. Today, I go over to see the man. Jobs are all filled up. How are you going to figure it?
It's hard to figure, all right.
Yeah. My name's Fred. Your name's Joe, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I sure would like to get situated someplace.
Joe. Hello, guys. Same as usual?
Just a bit. How's about having a shot with me, buddy? Give him a shot, Joe. Take it out of the change. Just a bit, Joe. No offense. I was standing here. There's no harm offering to buy a drink. Name's Fred. Fred Dorset.
Wasn't you in here with another fellow yesterday? Big guy.
Yeah, that was my pal. We come down from
Why
upstate.
don't you wait for your pal to come in, Fred? Maybe you can buy him a drink. Give me a couple dives for the phone, Joe.
Jesus. It's not very friendly, is he?
No, they're not very friendly here.
Oh, I guess I'll make a call.
Well, why don't you do that, buddy? Somebody that'll shoot the breeze with you. Someplace else.
Detective Dorset made a telephone call from the second public phone in the bar, making a mental note of its number as he did. Then he returned at once to his precinct squad room, where he, Detective Barton, and Lieutenant Jackson discussed their next step.
I think I've blown it, Lieutenant. We might stake out a new man in the bar, but he'll have a rough time getting close to Gus Sickel.
Well, what if you put a tail on him, Lieutenant? If they're still casing the job, we can at least pin down its location.
It can't be either of you boys, though.
If Sickel gets another look at me, we blow it for good.
Lieutenant, it would be real good to grab these guys right.
You're a good tail, Lieutenant.
Never known you to lose a man.
Why, there are half a dozen guys in this squad who... Okay, you think Sickle's still at the bar, Fred?
He's probably waiting for Biggie. Biggie hadn't come in when I left.
All right, I got my Chevy. Let's see if you can connect me with him, huh? 10 minutes later, gangbusters listeners, Lieutenant Jackson's black sedan moved slowly by the entrance to the Bronx bar. Is Sickle still there, Fred?
Just a minute. Biggie's there now. I don't see Sickel.
Okay, we'll park. Lieutenant Jackson parked his car so that he and Detective Dorset sat with their backs to the saloon entrance. Then, for a moment, he adjusted a large rear-view mirror. For 20 minutes, the two detectives sat, gangbusters listeners. To a casual passerby, they were two salesmen discussing a deal. A more alert person might have noticed that the smaller of the two salesmen, however, never took his eyes from the rear-view mirror until...
Okay, Lieutenant. It's both of them.
Which way they're headed, Fred? This way past us?
They're making up their minds. Yeah. Sickle's the big-nosed fellow, wearing the tan windbreaker.
Oh, they're hopping that bus up the street, Fred.
Shall I stay behind it?
Keep in the right-hand lane. Traffic will make you stay behind it.
Yes. You're moving down to the front of the bus, Lieutenant. About to get off, I think.
Okay, get ahead of it. Right along here, Fred. Take the car back to the station, Fred.
Yes, sir.
You and Larry wait for me there.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Within minutes after he had alighted from the car, Detective Lieutenant Jackson was certain the two hoodlums were planning a stick-up. They left the bus at a busy intersection in Manhattan. For the better part of an hour, they loitered along the block, paying particular attention to the actions of the clerks in a giant supermarket and the movements of the uniformed patrolmen on post. Each entered the supermarket separately, taking a long time to make small purchases. Finally, the two burglars again boarded a bus and returned to the Bronx Tavern. When Lieutenant Jackson entered, a Biggie Toller was waiting at the bar, and Gus Sickel was in the phone booth, marked out of order.
What do you have, mister?
Give me a large shell of beer.
Right.
Okay. You want? Yeah, we'll look into it. Goodbye. What do you think of that, Biggie?
Think of what?
On the phone, he told me. He don't like the fella. Don't like nothing about it. He's got a brand new idea.
Right down, guy.
After all that work, he says no.
So he says no. We gotta have him or we got nothing. Hey, Jones.
Yeah, Biggie?
Throw a couple of beers over the back booth, will you?
Hey, right away. You want I should throw you another, mister?
No, thanks. I gotta get him along.
Lieutenant. That was fast.
Yeah, fast and bad. You lose him, Lieutenant? No, Larry, I didn't lose them, but they lost the job. They made another case of the heist. It was that big supermarket there at 125th, Fred. Then they went back to the saloon, and Sickel called the third man.
He must be pretty important.
Well, they need him. They aren't going to move without him. He refused to set up, so they're going to start all over.
We've got enough to get a phone tap order, haven't we, Lieutenant?
I should think so. Fred, write up what we have so far, the two men's arrests and convictions, along with what we know of their movements now, their use of that phone in the bar. I'll take it to the judge.
Lieutenant Jackson's request for a listening device on the public telephone in the Bronx bar was approved by his commanding officer and granted by a judge after review of the facts as known. The location selected as a listening post was a basement in a building located around the corner from the bar. Technical employees of the telephone company, obeying the court's order, brought lines from the main phone lines under the street, set up a direct tap on outgoing calls from the public phone, a telephone by which the detectives assigned to the listening post could make calls, and a general tap on the trunk line which carried calls to the public phone. This was the equipment with which Lieutenant Jackson and Detectives Dorset and Barton hoped to trap Sickel and Toller and identify the unknown third man. For 48 hours, the men heard little except an occasional lame excuse offered a wife by a tardy husband, orders the bartender gave suppliers. Then, as the reader monitored the trunk line...
You'll get on it this time, Larry. Sure.
Gus was in a while earlier. I ain't seen Dick. How they doing on that thing I give him?
You're right, Larry.
Ain't talked about it much yet. You'll handle the car, Joe? Yeah, Merle. Now, this is going to be a real cinch if it works out the way I said it.
That's Merle Flint.
Yeah, I'll try it. Okay. Now, you tell Gus or Biggie to call me when they come in.
Well, I think the lieutenant might like to hear about this. Huh, Larry?
Brother, if that's Merle Clint. Back to Gangbusters in a moment. Monday night on most of these same CBS radio stations, Mr. Keene, tracer of lost persons, takes on the case of the man who talked too much. When a loquacious inventor spills too many beans about his new invention, death seals his lips, and Mr. Keene is called on to probe the killing. Remember, it's Monday night on most of these stations, Mr. Keene, tracer of lost persons. Remember, too, this Tuesday evening, Suspense brings you a thriller about Mau Mau trouble in Kenya Colony, East Africa, a story titled Lily and the Colonel. That's on Suspense, this Tuesday night at the Star's address. And now, back to Gangbusters and Commissioner John J. Sullivan.
There's good reason for Detective Broughton's excitement over the possibility that this third man was Merle Clint, Gangbusters listeners. There'd been a flyer out for 2 months issued by the Detroit police. Merle was a convicted murderer. More, an escaped convict. A gunman who for 3 months had dropped completely from sight. Well, within 20 minutes after being notified, Lieutenant Jackson arrived at the wiretap listening post.
Is there anything more, Fred?
It's Merle Clint, all right. The bartender made a call to Gus Sickel. Told him Merle was beginning to holler for action.
Well, that ties it. Clint's probably got a bad case of the shorts. No dough.
Well, if Clint's in it, Lieutenant, this job will be a big one. He won't take any chances for peanuts.
Yeah, what'd Sickel have to say, Larry?
He said he was coming right in. Wanted to talk to the bartender and Biggie. Then he'd call Clint.
He may have a job case, Fred. Call the precinct. When Sickel places the call, have a trace put on it. We have to find out where Clint is.
Right away, Lieutenant.
Oh, that's us. Better pick it up.
Yeah? This is Biggie, Joe. Gus around? Not yet. Well, tell him I got tied up. But the guy in the place agrees he'll go along the way we said.
Now, wait a minute, Biggie. Here, Gus is coming in now.
Just tell him to call Merle Clint, Joe. I'm coming on in.
Keep the line open, boys. There'll be more. They're setting the deal.
Sure. Hey, here they go.
Yep.
Hello? Gus Sickel, Bill. Well, I gotta hand it to you. This job's gonna be a cinch. How about Biggie and me coming out? We'll talk. You don't come within 5 miles of this place, Gus. Been too good a stash for me. You got everything set? Biggie closed it with this guy works there. As the guy goes out, he slips the plaster over the lock so it don't catch. It's one of those you can open from the inside, not from the outside. Well, how does the hall look? Couldn't be better. The joint's running a big clearance, but the shoes are still selling for better than 10 a pair. Place is jumping, not enough salesmen. They're open till 9 at night. And get this, Bill. 23rd Street is jammed with people leaving the store, but 24th, they got nobody. The rear door goes right out through a little areaway. That's the one we use. How much so? This guy in the store thinks 10, 15 grand we time it right. You need dough, Merle. Well, okay, set it. Joe drives. Joe drives.
Yeah. Well, Larry, we've got no idea when they're going to pull us.
Yes, sir.
They've got a man inside. We can't take a chance. It might even be the manager.
Yes, sir.
They're having a sale. They need salesmen. It's a big shoe store on 23rd with a rear entrance on 24th. Shouldn't be hard to find.
I wouldn't think so, Lieutenant.
Try to get a job working there, Larry. You better have a gun.
I'll use an armpit holster.
Good.
Hello? Yeah, this is Fred Dorset. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Lieutenant, they traced that call to Merle Clint.
Where is he?
Rooming house in Queens. He's probably still there. Shall I have him picked up?
I don't know. Larry.
Yes, sir.
You get a job in a shoe store, you may have to face up to Merle Clint.
We'd like to get those guys, Lieutenant.
The 2 others, Sickel and Toller, they'll have guns.
You guys will be outside, Lieutenant. Maybe when they come out, I'll have sold them a new pair of brogans each.
Okay, then. We won't pick up Clint, Fred. We'll see if we can't take them all at the same time.
In warfare, gangbusters listeners, what Lieutenant Jackson of the New York City Police was now taking would have been called a calculated risk. But the fight against crime is warfare, preventive warfare. A watchful day passed. Then, as Lieutenant Jackson again joined Detective Fred Dorset at the wiretap in the dingy basement.
Hi, Fred.
Hi.
Anything new in the box, sir?
Nothing, Lieutenant.
Well, Larry Barton got the job, Fred. He's now a clerk at the shoe store.
Good.
How's the coffee?
I'll plug it in. Only take a minute to heat up.
Good.
Larry's in the store. I sure hope they make the move. Wait a minute. I'm getting so I know those cliques listening to them all day. That's not ours.
Larry's given me the setup. At 9, they close the front and back door of the store. The customers go out the front as they finish shopping into 23rd Street. And the clerks check in their sales books with the manager in the rear of the store, give him any final cash transaction, check out, and exit on 24th. That's where the door is, that the lock is being dimmed.
Hey, that's ours.
Hello? This is Merle Clint, Joe. Huh? We go tonight, Merle. But, Merle, I ain't moving on this unless I know you're handling the gun. I'm handling the gun, Joe. Okay, then I'll be there with the car. Good boy, Joe. Remember, I told you we'd come out on 24th Street. The car will be at the corner of 8th Avenue. Right.
Yes, sir.
I'm there at 9:20. No later. There are 22 clerks working. If there are any left when we go in, they better not get in the way. I'm set for 9:20, Merle.
Well, this is the business, Fred. So what's the time?
10 or 9. Can we get word of warning to Larry? He's in that.
No, sorry, he has no idea what they're up to. We'll blow it again if we go in and talk to him.
Maybe if I went in to buy some shoes.
It's a ladies' shoe store.
Well, if we get one of the gals in the department.
We never get to there in time. We'll just have to hope that Larry doesn't try to stop him. Fred, get on the phone to the captain. We'll let those bums go into the store, then block off traffic on 24th Street. We'll need 2 patrol cars, one at each end of the block. I got the commanding officer of the precinct in that area alerted. He can have 4 men there to help. Okay, you can turn that doodad off. We got work to do.
Some moments later, inside the shoe store, Detective Larry Barton, fully aware of the plans, but not knowing of the timing, was busy acting out his role of shoe salesman.
Well, they're attractive.
And you can't beat them at the price, man.
I just don't know about that shade of red, though. But do you have something a little darker, more of a maroon?
Ma'am, the store is closed. It has been for 10 minutes.
Well, if you had something darker in that style, I'm sure I'd take them.
Well, you see, the management objects to going for new stock after the store's closed. Now, if you'd like to drop in tomorrow...
Those men are coming in there. They've got guns.
Quiet, lady. You won't get hurt. Watch your door, Biggie. Just keep these people covered.
Okay. Against the wall there. Just turn as though you're looking at the stock. No spots, and nobody gets killed.
Hey, you. Give me the money. It don't have to be me. Just stuff it in a bag. Okay. Now just keep standing that way until you count to 100. There's going to be a guy watching. The first one moves gets it. All right, Gus. Okay, Biggie?
Hey, there's something wrong here, Merle. Look in the street. Hasn't been a car or person moved since we came in.
All right, keep them covered, Gus. Hey, they know about the job. They got the street blocked. What are we going to do? 23rd Street. Crowds will keep them from shooting. If anyone gets in the way... Hey, you back.
Hello, police officer. Hit the deck, everybody.
They're making for the front. Stop them. Larry? Yeah, Lieutenant. You all right? Shoulder, I think. Snub. Yeah, don't try to move, boy. Get him, Lieutenant. We got him, Larry. We got him good. Gus Sickel and Albert Biggie Toller, both wounded in the gunfight, were brought to trial and recovery and are now serving maximum sentences. And the city of New York cheerfully surrendered Merle Clint to the Detroit police. In New York, he would have been convicted for armed robbery and assault with intent to kill. But in Michigan, he was already convicted for life.
Thank you, Commissioner John J. Sullivan, retired, of the New York City Police Department. And now, Gangbusters Nationwide Clues, broadcast every week to assist American police in their war against the underworld. Attention, Gangbusters listeners. Maintain vigilance for Patrick Eugene McDermott, a convicted murderer sought by the FBI for unlawful flight to avoid confinement. Listen carefully to his official description.
Patrick McDermott, age 56, 5 feet 4½ inches, 172 pounds, brown eyes, sometimes wears glasses, brown hair, gray, medium complexion, may work as a hospital technician, machinist, barber, or composer of crossword puzzles.
This fugitive has a 1-inch scar over left eyebrow. Tip of left index finger is amputated. Has tattoo of red and blue bulldog head, right forearm. Has complete set of upper and lower dentures. He is interested in astrology and composes crossword puzzles. McDermott reportedly carries a snub-nosed revolver in right coat pocket. Consider him dangerous. Attention, all citizens. Be on the lookout for this man wanted by the FBI for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution for the crime of robbery.
Herbert Dennis Bechtel, Bechdel, age 37, 5 feet 7, 175 to 80 pounds, stocky build, brown hair, brown eyes, ruddy complexion, may seek work as a beekeeper or a dairyman.
This man has the following identifying marks. A 2-inch scar on chin, nail on left ring finger mark, 6-inch scar on back of left leg, ball of left heel amputated causing limp. He may be wearing mustache and long sideburns and have
hair dyed, and artificially waved.
Caution. Bechtel may be armed and has reportedly stated that he will not be taken alive. Consider him extremely dangerous. If you have any information concerning these clues, notify your local police, the nearest office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or gangbusters at once. Tonight's Gangbusters case was written by William L. Stewart and directed by Leonard L. Bass, with Jack Orrison, Bill Lipton, and Wendell Holmes in leading roles. This production was supervised for CBS Radio by Jerry Danzig. Art Hanna speaking. Station to amazing facts in the case of the unusual partners on Gangbusters, a production of CBS Radio in cooperation with Phillips H. Lord.
70 years ago, May 14, 1955, Gangbusters here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll go to Pine Ridge, Arkansas in a moment with Lum and Abner.
We live in an age of specialization. We work in it, too. The legendary jack of all trades is lost out to the master of one. Too often, however, 20th century employers find it difficult to find the highly trained, highly skilled workers they need. Like any problem, however, theirs will yield to thought and consideration. A physically handicapped worker, for example, may not be able to do every job well, but if he's trained to do the one job you want done, you can rest assured he'll do that job well. A physical disability is not and need not be a job disability. Very often a handicap will even add to the worker's efficiency. Where excessive room noise is a factor, a deaf employee may prove more efficient than his colleagues. Weekdays, call the local office of your state employment service and hire the handicapped to fill job openings in your organization. You will find the state employment service listed in your telephone directory.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we wrap up this podcast with an episode of Lum and Abner. 83 years ago today, May 14th, 1942, they actually find a real use for Diogenes' old printing press.
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. You know, friends, the makers of Alka-Seltzer are awfully proud to be able to bring you these regular visits with Lum and Abner, because they know how you welcome the sunshine these two lovable old characters bring. Likewise, they'd like to remind you how much comfort Alka-Seltzer can bring for so many of the common ailments that are so apt to come along during these busy, hectic days. Alka-Seltzer can be a mighty big help to you in easing the headaches, the nervous indigestion, and the other minor stomach upsets that are so common nowadays. Be sure to remember that, won't you? The very next time a hard, nerve-wracking day's work leaves you feeling headachy and upset. Try it now, for if this has been one of those days, you'll just never know how much better Alka-Seltzer can make you feel until you try it. If you haven't a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets in your home right now, you can get one quickly at any drugstore. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the influence of Diogenes Smith lingers on in Pine Ridge. The other day, while cleaning out the feed room, the old fellows ran across the printing press that the now reformed Diogenes used in his counterfeiting business, and immediately Lum decided that they should take up printing as a sideline. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum in the Jot-'em Down store and library, proudly showing Abner the results of his first printing efforts, some statements for their store. Listen. Here they are, Abner. They're all done. Don't them look like real genuine professional bills?
Now, let's see them. Why, doggies, they do, Lon. Well, them things look might now like the bills of wholesale houses all are sending us.
Well, I sort of patterned these after them from the wholesale house. They look official, don't they?
Oh, my, yeah. Well, are we going to send these out to all our customers now?
Well, to all them that ain't paid their bills. Like Squire and Mose Moots and some of them that's owed us money for years and years.
Yeah. Well, reckon this'll get them to pay what they owe us?
I don't know. Or to do some good, though. These bills is awfully impressive.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I'd stamp that rubber stamp on there that says, please, with the tears rolling down his face.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I know that always gets me when they send me one of them.
Yeah, makes a feller sort of sad to look at it. Well, sure, them things is impressive, I'll say that for 'em.
Oh, yeah. And it's something the government wants us to do, too.
The government?
Yeah, they want everybody to pay up all their old bills. Leastways, all the ones they can pay, of course.
Sure.
Get themselves out of debt. And that ain't a bad idea, either.
Oh, no. Say, I was just looking at these bills, Lum. I believe you never printed them right. Look here, these is for a store in some other town.
Well, there ain't no such a thing.
There, done it. Look here, it says, Jot 'em Down Store and Lowbury, Pone Road, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, that.
Well, what's a Lowbury and where's Pone Road?
That's the library in Pine Ridge. I just couldn't find no letter I's in that bunch of type dodging he's had, so I had to use O's instead. Started to use W's, and that made it worse than ever.
Yeah, no, I believe a O's better than a W in there.
I don't think nobody'll take much notice to that, though, Abner.
Well, I don't know. It don't look just right to me. Folks is liable to drive clean to Pone Roads to pay their bills if they get these.
Well, how can they? There ain't no such place.
They ain't?
Why, of course not, silly.
Well, doggy, that's going to make it worse than ever then, Lum. They'll start out hunting for that town. They'll drive and spend all their money for traveling instead of paying it to us for their bills.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Why, they might be gone for weeks or even years. Doggers, we might not never see none of them again, you know it?
Abner, there ain't no such a thing as that going to happen, so just stop worrying.
Well, I don't know. It's awful liable to happen. You take a stubborn feller, well, like old Grandpappy Spears. Once he starts out hunting for a town, he won't never give up till he finds it, Lum.
When did you ever hear of Grandpap looking for a town and not giving up?
Well, I never did hear of him doing just that, but as stubborn as he is, you know him. Again, he gets a idea in his head there ain't no one thing in this world that'll get it out.
That outcaps anything I ever heard. You talking about somebody else getting some idea in his head and nobody being able to get it out again. There's any one feller that's... Well, wait a minute. I ain't going to get onto that subject again.
Well, just the same, Lum.
Abner, this discussion is ended. Finished. We're through with it. Get out the account book and we'll start making out these bills.
Account book?
Yeah, you know, the one where we write down what folks owes us.
Oh, the Squire Skimp book, yeah.
Yeah, that. Bring it over here and set it on the library table. This will be a good place to work right here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. See, whereabouts is that thing now? Oh, here it is, right here, yeah.
Hey, we ought to started this bill idea a long time ago, you know it, Abner?
Yeah.
It's the only way to do business. Be systematics about everything.
Yeah, well, where do you want this now? Right here? Is this all right for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, right there.
Hey, you sit there and read off the names and how much they owe, and I'll make out the bills.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's see now.
It's going to start bringing us in a lot of money, you know that?
Oh, bound to. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's see. First is Ulysses S. Quincy. Owes $4.92.
All right, Ulysses... wait a minute, Abner. Better skip that one.
Skip it?
Yeah, I'm mighty not sure Ulysses ain't got the money to pay this right now. We'll send him a bill some other time.
I thought you said we was going to be systematics about this.
Well, we're, but... Well, you know how things have been going out to the Quincy's place. His woman's been down sick and all.
Yeah, I know Aunt Charity Spears went out there the other day and sat with her a while.
Yeah, better just strike off that $4, Abner. And send them a nice basket of groceries out to the Quincy's this afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll take it out when I make the delivery today. Yeah, just scratch that right off of there right now.
What's the next name on the book there?
Well, let's see. Master. Oh, Grandpa Masters. Yeah, $3.14.
Well,
ain't you going to make out the bill?
I don't know. I sort of hate to push Grandpa Masters for the money, Abner. Might make him feel self-unconscious about coming in here.
Oh.
Besides, he's awful faithful about paying what he can on his bills, even if it is just a little bit.
Oh, yeah, he pays what he can, yeah. Well, you think I ought to sort of just cross this and off?
Yeah. Yeah, better cross that one off, too.
Yeah, all right.
What's the next one there?
Let's see. Next is, wait a minute. I reckon we'll have to move from here along.
Have to move?
Yeah, here comes Grandpap. He gets awful mad again. He comes in here and finds somebody sitting in his favorite place at the library's table.
Well, let him get mad. This ain't his table. Belongs to us.
Yeah, but he claims this is a free public library, and he's got a right to sit here. He always points to that free public library sign we put up over there every time I argue with him.
We might have to take that sign down.
Yeah.
Cause more arguments than ever. Wait a minute. Morning, Grandpap.
Yeah, morning, Grandpap.
Howdy. Ed, you'll have to count me out this year, Lum. You just have to do it.
Count you out?
Yep. Won't seem like old times, but I can't see no other way out of it. No, you just have to count me out, Lum.
What are you talking about? Count you out of what, Grandpap?
Why, my regular job, counting ballots at the voting polls.
Oh.
County elections are coming up this fall, you know.
Yeah. But is that all that's troubling you?
Well, why can't you be there for the elections, Grandpap? You gonna be out of town, taking a trip or something?
See there, Lum? What did I tell you? That's it right there. He's going out to hunt for that town Pone Road. He's got his mind all made up. He'll be gone for months.
How's that, Abner? What'd you say?
Huh?
He never said nothing, Grandpap. Just tell me why you can't count ballots next fall.
Because I don't want to go again to Giverman. Don't want to take no chance on getting thrown in the penitentiary.
Penitentiary? Doggies, what have you been up to now, Grandpap?
Well, nothing yet.
Huh?
Ain't you fellers seen the weekly paper?
No, I don't believe I have. Not this week anyway.
Well, go down to Moe's Moots Barber Shop and read 'em then. Just march yourself down there. There's an article in there tells all about it.
All about what? What is it?
About not making too much money this year.
Oh?
The government don't want nobody to make over $25,000.
$25,000?
Yes, sir. That's what it says. Wrote down there in black and ink.
Well, for the land's sakes, Grandpap, that ain't nothing for you to worry about. That ballot counting job never pays you more than $3.
Yeah, I know, but that $3 might be just enough to put me over the $25,000 mark.
For the land's sake.
No, I ain't gonna take no chances.
Swan, Grandpap, that's the craziest thing I ever heard of in my life. You never made $25,000 in your whole life put together if you taken every nickel you ever made and all stacked it up together.
That's right, Grandpa.
Why, sure it is.
No, it'd just be my luck that this be the year when I made that much.
Oh, sassy frass.
Don't you sassy frass me, Abner Peabody. I might strike it rich this year, you don't know.
Yeah, I'd love to see you do it.
I've been reading a book on this subject, and there's lots of ways of making that much money.
Sassy frass.
Abner, hush up. We got work to do here. Go on, Grandpap. What's the next name in the account book there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. Greatest thing I ever heard of. Next in here. Oh, right here, yeah. Squire Skimp. MK. Yeah, MK Skimp. 4 cans of tobacco. 60 cents. And,
That's one we ain't gonna cross off, I can tell you that right now.
Oh, no. Well, there's a lot of other stuff here, too. No, don't cross him off.
I'll put 2 or 3 of them please signs on this.
Yeah, you better if you want.
Sir, I just can't take no chances, Be my luck to hit on somebody that'd bring me in $25,000, and then along come the elections, and I'd make my $3, and bingo, I'd be breaking the law.
Prattle, Grandpap. You don't even know what that much money looks like. Facts is, you don't even know what...
I told you to hush up.
Oh, well.
What's the next name there?
Oh, swan to goodness, silly siders. It is Lucille Abernathy. Oh, Widder Abernathy. $1.23 for the Widder Abernathy.
Widder Abernathy.
Yeah, I'll put that
I was reading about one idea where a feller made himself over $500,000 in just a couple of weeks.
$500,000 for the
article
land?
said.
Well.
Of course, I can't use that idea because that's too much money.
Well,
I got to keep my income under $25,000. Yes, sir. Just got to do it. That's all they are to it.
What's the next name there, Evan?
Let's see. Milford Spears. Well, Grandpappy. 31 cents for you, Grandpa.
Yes, sir. I don't know if I can or not, but I've just got to keep her down to that $25,000 mark. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to watch it.
Here, Grandpap, here's something that'll cut down your income. You can pay this bill here.
Huh? It's a bill you owe us for 31 cents. Look there, Milford Spears. You want to pay it now?
Oh, bill, huh?
Yes, sir.
How much did you say it was?
31 cents.
31 cents, huh?
That's what it is. There it is right there. You got the stuff, too. Don't argue about it.
31, did you say?
That's what I said. You going to pay it or not? Well, are you going to pay it or not, Grandpap? We won't have to make out a bill if you'll pay us right now.
Mom? Yeah? Better count me in on my regular election job this fall, and I'll take care of that bill this fall.
Well, all I can say is we never know what Grandpappy Spears is going to do or say next, do we? But then we're all pretty much used to the unexpected these days. I guess that's just one of the many reasons why every day more and more busy, energetic men and women keep a package of quick-acting Alka-Seltzer tablets in their desk or locker at work, as well as at home. For by doing this, these folks are prepared to get fast relief for headaches, the sour, upset stomach, acid indigestion, and muscular aches and pains that come along just when they're most unexpected and most unwelcome. Yes, sir, those common complaints can slow you down all right, and it seems as though they most invariably occur just when there's more work than usual to get out. Do you keep a package of Alka-Seltzer tablets on the job? Well, you certainly should, because you never know when you'll want the kind of relief Alka-Seltzer offers. So get a package of friendly, dependable Alka-Seltzer tablets from your druggist on the way to work in the morning.
From 83 years ago, May 14th, 1942, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our Facebook page, our X page, our Blue Sky page, and our Twitter page to search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And visit us tomorrow for more great shows of comedy this time. Our Miss Brooks, Phil Harris, Jack Benny, and Hildegard here on Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.